Ladies and gentlemen, the club is back from Vegas. I can't even talk. And boy, do we have lots to cover. Top Shot, go. NFTs, go. Your favorite shitty PNG, go. It's Club Top Shot, here to do it all. Damian, you can retire. Let's call up Steve Kerr right now. Tell him you're done. 3-on-2 game.
Oh, I'm an incredible basketball player. Awful shooter. Awful shooter.
Nasty jumper.
Would he ever gamble on shooting?
Here we go.
Me.
Let's see.
We got Ja lighting up again.
On that note, let me go.
All right.
Club Top Shop going up on a Tuesday.
Love. These people are crazy. 9 p.m. Someone says, "Where you at, Pete?" There is no one who's more reliably on time than me as a streamer, and I get people saying I've spent my entire life waiting for Pete to start a stream because I'm 5 seconds late. Anyways, Clay, Mike, Jack, Andy, how are we doing tonight?
We're living. Everyone's alive. Whoa, the marketplace is undergoing maintenance?
Hey,
I was going to make some purchases tonight.
It would be a Club Top Shot without the marketplace under maintenance.
We're back.
That's how you know we're back.
OpenSea is also struggling. Just the marketplace gods are not working with us right now.
Your internet's struggling as well, Mike. Very
Is it?
glitchy. Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
are
you're a
you
little-
against the
little like a
moment?
robot.
It is crazy. Like Mike's the #2 bag holder on Top Shot. Andy's got Pudgy Penguins, and neither one of them have good Wi-Fi. It's just crazy.
That's a New York City problem.
I need that FiOS life.
We also have Clay here. If you're new and you don't recognize Clay, Clay is the man behind our social media. All the fire tweets you can attribute to him. He was there with us in Vegas. I'd like to say he was documenting it all, but he did take about a 6-hour, hangover period to throw up in a trash can. I was like, Clay, you got to take some photos of the basketball game, and he's over puking in the trash can. You feeling better, Clay?
Yeah, we've recovered. We're back on the lowest dose, so happy to say that. But yeah, I mean, I took a major L. Major L. You hate to see it, but it happens sometimes. So
Could you? I see the chat going crazy. Could you actually imagine if they did rake back right now? I mean, it would just be like Plur. You guys know.
I would jump off the stream. I wouldn't be able to focus on that and stream at the same time. Would be over. Is my internet better, by the way?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
It would be
Great.
hysteria.
Clay, what did happen? What were we doing Sunday night that you're so wasted?
well, I think
We were playing craps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Andy and I left about like 3:30 in the morning. I think we kind of wrapped it up. But I would say the Bloody Marys at 11 a.m. That was a good way to kick off the day, Pete. So what? Like it was a steady day. It was a great day. It was a great day. I didn't think that was what I had in store for me though when I woke up. When we did the coffees that morning, I was ready. I was excited, but it just wasn't in the cards.
So did we go to dinner Sunday night? I don't even remember. They all meshed together, but I think that was the night where he started the night doubling down on 16s against 10s. And then
12.
He
and
doubled
then-
12. It was
12.
12.
They had to
And
call
then-
the security.
But
when they
I
were
split
playing,
eights,
when
split
we were
triple eights,
playing
hit all of them.
craps and he was slurring his words, I was like, he seems a little. But then when he was throwing up on Monday, I was like, oh, that's how his night went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Clay was making some of the most unorthodox blackjack plays I've ever seen, to the point that they had to call the pit boss. They thought we had like a Rain Man level talent over here taking down Vegas, but it was just drunk Clay.
Yeah, wish I could say that.
Andy, what's your recap from the Club Top Shot Vegas trip? We all enjoyed getting to meet and hang out with Allie. She was lovely. Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We ate a lot of good food. I feel good at going back a Tuesday morning. I was definitely ready to be home, but at the same time, I didn't feel like horribly bloated or like I had eaten way too much. I had definitely had a little bit too much to eat and drink, but not like significantly too much. Whereas my first time in Vegas a couple of years ago, like the day I was leaving, I just felt truly terrible. And so I was very happy with that. I think playing basketball for 2.5 hours definitely helped. I was sore for about 4 days, I think. I'm not sure I've totally recovered, if I'm being totally honest, but it was a lot of fun. It was really good.
Mike, what about you? You have a good time out in Vegas?
I had a great time. I think it was a lot of fun getting together in person. It's always fun getting together like this, but it makes me yearn for the old days of last week. And it was awesome meeting Allie. Meeting Allie, Overzet, and Jennings in one weekend is a lot to handle, and it was awesome. And a big shout out to the club guests who made their way over to Vegas. It was an awesome time. The dinner we all had together, the basketball session, the gambling, all that was an awesome time. So it was great. I felt like crap when I came home, and now we've gone right into this like crazy bull market. One of those ones where you're sleeping like 2 or 3 hours a night because you keep waking up to like check things and browse Twitter, and I'm a shell of myself right now.
Jack, what was your Vegas takeaway?
The people who came out were like, it's not even that there weren't like not cool people there. It was like everyone was as cool as the next. Like genuinely could not have enjoyed everyone that was there more. Like it was the coolest thing to finally be able to meet the people who we've been linked to on the internet, but like actually dope people. Like there's times where internet people are, not as cool as you'd like to think. The crew, whoever flew out to Vegas, must have passed some test. I guess it's being in Pete's Discord. So that was for me the most fun. But yeah, what a trip. It was I was out there 4 nights, which was long. I'm going out there 6 nights in 3 weeks. So I'll be ready to go, and I'm coming home Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'm gonna echo what Jack said. We had a blast. Like it was so awesome meeting everyone. Like I'm already was telling people like I'm so pumped. Like next year, I know we're gonna have even more people. It's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
I've already decided that's happening next year, regardless of everyone else's input. But it'll be a blast.
We're going to do it bigger and better next year. I know there were lots of kind of things that didn't quite break our way. We had, COVID flaring up again. We didn't overlap with Top Shot in Vegas. We definitely made the most of it, but I can already see us having an incredible sequel next year. And so we'll be sure to keep you posted. And on that note as well, a couple shout outs, obviously Underdog, who they got us these fresh hats for all the VIPs who came out. They flew Lou Dog out there, and then also to Top Shot, who sponsored a nice family dinner for the Club Top Shot crew. We had an awesome meal at Momofuku on Monday night. Compliments of Top Shot, who were bummed that they didn't overlap with us. So thank you, everyone, the VIPs, Top Shot, Underdog. Fabulous weekend, and we will be doing it again next year. And now, boys, we come back, and things are just straight ripping. Just absolutely.
Wait, we can't be. We're not done with Vegas. Are we done with Vegas? We can't be done with Vegas.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, you got a good story to tell. I thought
Can you review the club basketball game for everyone, please?
Oh yeah, we could talk basketball for sure.
There's one matchup in particular. I just want to know how that went, and maybe maybe the people should.
You didn't want Jennings said he's going to be on in like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
we don't want to wait 15 minutes.
Okay. We do have to save the basketball for Jennings.
You're absolutely right.
Let's Jennings, because we're just going to talk about it all again when Jennings get here, so we might as well save it. But let's go around the horn. How are we? Andy, you are our NFT godfather. What's the state of the union on what's happening right now?
Total unadulterated insanity. I woke up this morning to DMs like, hey, you want to come on a podcast? Like right now we have to talk about NFTs. And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's do it. So myself and Deez were on like a podcast today talking about it. It's really crazy. I think that like this is a level of mania in NFTs that kind of feels like what happened in Top Shot. And I don't want to jinx anything. Kind of feels like a bit of where Top Shot was a few months ago. Or now at this point, like almost half a year ago. Shit, it was a long time ago. But it's one of the things that's really interesting is there's a lot of, people are really good at tracking like where the money is coming from and stuff now. It's a lot of like venture capital firms and like hedge funds and stuff buying these NFTs, which to me is very interesting. I just, I assume that they're very smart people who know what they're doing, and I wouldn't expect them to be buying the top of this stuff. Art Blocks is going really crazy. Punks are going crazy. Visa announced that they bought a Cryptopunk, which is just like, what on earth is going on? I don't even know what else to say.
I'm surprised there hasn't been like a larger trend of like, don't sell your JPEGs to the corporate companies. Like I've seen the tweets, but like, I feel like people are going to push that more.
Peter Jennings.
I mean, it's hard to
entering
turn
the
down
club.
like 100x returns.
For
Dan,
sure.
that's a nice hat.
These hats are so fire.
Yes,
No,
I will. I talked to the crew at Underdog, and these are only going to be available in giveaways, so you can't buy them. But I am giving away one every day. I'm doing 12 days of best ball drafts, 10 more to go. So if you guys want to tune into those every day, I give away one of these fire Underdog hats. Shout out to them. Pete, how we doing? How you doing in this bull market, buddy?
Sold a CryptoPunk today. Just devastating.
Wow,
Not
paper
gonna make
hands.
it.
You
I
hate
know,
to see it.
paper handed a punk today. So yeah.
Which one?
It was a girl I bought in July, late July.
Clip that, Clay.
You know, I didn't even hold her for a month. It's sad. I don't have any big shades in the collection anymore. I mean, it's pretty brutal. But yeah, what a freaking insane stretch of time here. And yeah, not really sure what to think. Definitely eager to hear everyone's perspective on what's going on right now.
Yeah. Andy just was pretty much speechless about what's happening.
Andy
Jack,
also called the top, so we're moving past that.
And
I did not call the top. Let the record show I did not call the top. I just said it feels a bit like how Top Shot felt in
We'll clip that too.
in the bull market of Top Shot.
What about the ICO analogy that everyone's making, like the JPEGs?
Terrible analogy. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
You
I hate
think?
that analogy.
Why?
Yeah, well, because these ICOs that were coming out were like literally false promises of things. So I think you can make that analogy a bit with like some of the profile picture stuff where they're like, oh,
Right.
we're making a video game, and when you get the profile picture, the video, you're gonna play with it in the video game. Like, sure, I think it's comparable there. But when you're comparing it to like art blocks, it's just like, in my opinion, apples and oranges. These ICOs were just like literal false promises raising millions of dollars, whereas this is a digital collectible that people want to pay money for. And so while people may at one point want to pay less for that digital collectible than they do right now, it's not like the company that made this is going to disappear. Like the digital collectible is still there. It's not literally going to be worthless at some point. I mean, it might be, but not because the creators are going to abscond into the night with their $30 million that they raised.
It is pretty funny hearing Andy give the speech with the bowl cut penguin on his chest.
yeah, hang on. Let's see this here.
Bought this
Co-parter.
from LOL DeFi. Yeah, shout out to 0x Elmo. But,
There you go.
I
love
think
it.
everyone kind of knows, like it is a similar feeling to when Top Shot was mooning. This is like anything in life when everything is FOMOing and everything's going up. At some point, there is going to be pullback. If you need to take profit, take profit. If you can hold longer, hold longer. I feel like it's, at this point, we've seen enough cycles, like 2 cycles of this, to where if you've been in it for 6 months, like you should understand that there's risks involved and everything could crash.
Yeah, I give a shout out every week to the Club NFT channel in the Discord, just absolutely popping off. And a couple of the guys who host the Club MGMI podcast, Babs and Lou and Dangy, one thing that they've said to people in there that I think is really good advice is, if everything went to zero right now, the JPEGs, would you be holding enough ETH that you would feel comfortable with that? And if that answer is no, maybe get your house in order. If that answer is yes, keep splashing around in degenning. And I think that's a good kind of just rule of thumb to know if you're too far out over your skis there. I don't know if anyone else has thoughts on that.
I think it's a really good point. And I think also there's, there's value to potentially, there's ways to kind of try to ride some of the hype and excitement around NFTs without explicitly just buying NFTs. For example, there's DAOs that you can buy into that are collecting NFTs that maybe at that point you're also buying into the consciousness of everyone who's a part of that and participating. And like, I think Fingerprints DAO now is one that's like a publicly tradable, where that's a way where you can maybe have a little more liquid exposure that isn't like 100% correlated to the assets that are inside of them, but also can appreciate with the upside of, they have a ton of like generative art and stuff like that. I think there's other ways that you can also get exposure, or even just like projects and companies that are building on and with NFTs. But yeah, definitely, like, it's important to think about what happens if all of a sudden there were literally no buyers tomorrow and you couldn't sell anything for a year. Is that fine? Are you okay? Can you pay your taxes and all of that kind of stuff?
What is the updated take on how coupled the price of ETH is with kind of NFTs right now?
At least right now, I don't think really much has changed. ETH has gone up from probably the last time we had that conversation. It's gone up 50%, or maybe a little bit less, 45%. It hasn't really affected anything with the punks market too much. I think as punks market has hit interesting milestones in USD, there's been conversations around that, like, oh, the floor for punks is $100,000. The floor for punks is $250,000. But in general, most of the conversations that I'm having with people are still priced in ETH, and the like ETH's run up from like 2400 to 3300 didn't really seem to have any type of like re-rating in punks with them going down. But I mean, who knows? Maybe the punks floor would be 90 ETH if ETH hadn't have run up, but I can only go with what we know.
I did see someone on Twitter saying that it's gonna, if ETH continues to rise and gas stays this high, it'll be pretty tough to mint a lot of these smaller projects, right? Because it's 0.1 ETH, but then you're paying essentially double that with the fees and with gas too. So the high end stuff might sit a little better, but that's just kind of what I saw online.
So Pete just sent us here in the group chat here. Are we sure I don't think we're at a top. I mean,
No.
this rock is undervalued by about $500,000, in my opinion.
Did that just sell?
Peter, you're muted. You're the one who sent me this.
Yeah, but you didn't read the message.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, nothing crazy is going on. Cryptopunks are selling for millions. Rocks are selling for a bunch of money.
Did you buy this, Pete? Is this what you're trying to tell us?
No.
Ashley asked for a rock, and this is what you got her.
I'm not gonna lie, I was browsing the rock marketplace today, but I decided that's one of those things where I was looking at it and I was like, if this were all go to zero, I don't want to have to explain to Allie, listen, things are going really well, and then I bought these rocks, but you don't understand, they were from 2018, and
so Bob is convinced that they're the nuts essentially of NFTs because they're the meme, they're Doge, right? And it's the meme of the entire thing.
I'm really bullish on the rocks, if I'm being honest.
You only need to convince 100 people.
Right. When you say like if this went to zero, it'd be tough to explain. When I think about like if penguins went to zero, or these forces, or the glue cat gutter horses, like if that stuff went to zero, I'd be like, okay, we kind of could have seen this coming. I shouldn't have been invested in that. But the rocks somehow almost fall into my category of like, this feels like the right play in terms of a safety net. Not that the price won't fall, just like fundamentally it makes sense. Like they're the joke of the entire thing.
What's the origin story of the rock? I mean, I've seen them getting memed and all that, but I actually don't know the narrative behind it.
I don't know, 2017 early project. I don't know if is it the first of anything, or it's just like,
nah,
people like it because like it's a shitty website, and on the website the guy said literally this does nothing. Don't buy this. You're an idiot if you buy this. It was like the original version of like the rug WTF project, but like in 2017.
You gonna put any rocks in the family vault, Mike?
No. It's up to $500,000. It's no good.
So like a metric basically of you can't get a rock for $500,000. Who are you kidding?
It's a $500,000.
Floor is like $1 million.
It's 500 ETH. It's 500 ETH.
Yeah.
Right? I'm getting my currency mixed up.
A bit of a metric for like kind of how I'm able to gauge NFT interest in things is like how often people ask me about things being on fractional at this point. I have had no one ask me about rocks or anything more than rocks. I get asked all the time, when's there going to be a rock on fractional? Like, listen, they're not ERC 721 tokens. I'm working. I need to talk with the devs, but like I have probably had double-digit people ask me about rocks on fractional.
And what do you call those?
Yes, come on, Andy. You got to drop that in there.
Pebbles.
Yeah. The pebbles.
I mean, I don't get to
That's
make
the
the
only
name
that's the only reason to own a rock is so you can call them pebbles. I mean, let's be honest.
I'm gonna highly encourage people call them pebbles.
So what is it? It's 100 rocks, and the cheapest one's over $1 million right now, USD.
Yeah.
Do the colors
And you can
matter
mint them
at all?
for like $1,000 like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, the colors do matter. I don't really know why, but they do. I'm
Looks like a
not
desirable
well
color.
versed in the rock world. It's one of those things I'm just.
And
Jennings,
you're our-
I
you're
know
our
you've
guy.
done your research.
You're
What's-
Ed, you're on the show for these answers.
No, Jennings has the answer. What's the color?
I don't have the answer. I don't know anything about rocks other than they're the Dogecoin of NFTs. I think that's such a great comp. And you only need a small amount of people to believe. I mean,
Yeah.
Pete,
we're at the top.
What did one to sell for $1 million or something? I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, someone's bought one for like 1.3 recently. Tony keeps asking me about my pudgy penguin, so I'll answer that. I owned a pudgy penguin. I'm embarrassed. I'm not proud. It was a complete market play. Before Vegas, I was like, let me scoop a little bit of money here so when I blow money in Vegas, I don't feel as bad. I bought a pudgy penguin for 2 ETH. I sold it for 3 ETH like 9 hours later. I don't own a pudgy penguin anymore. I held it for less than 12 hours. I cleansed myself of that. I blew all that money at tables and at a club that like a bunch of people on Friday forced me to go to. I'm not cut out for clubs. I'm not cut out for it, but I went and I blew all my pudgy penguin profits on that, and I'm out of the game and I'm done. So
you say you're not cut out for clubs. I'm pretty sure you went to more clubs than all of us.
No, Jack was there.
Did you go another night too?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
No. I'm an old man.
Pete, talk to me here because, you were roasting me for selling our communal punk, our punk, and then you sold another punk today. So how are you giving me shit for paper hands when you're selling?
I mean, you imagine not being a punk holder.
No.
That's it. That's the end of it. I mean, that's the end of the conversation.
It's very different selling to get to 0 punks than selling to get to 5
dude,
or 6.
so different.
Very,
Very
very
balancing, and there's getting out, and just getting out is unacceptable.
I mean, here's my thing. I had a horrible call, a couple months ago.
It was like 8
84.
Ethereum, and you're like, what? There'll never be 8 Ethereum again. What did you say?
Give me credit.
And ETH was at $1,800.
Give me credit. I didn't stay anchored to that. I bought into a punk, and I made $100,000. Could have been $200,000, but
you deserve credit for that. You deserve credit for that.
It's a rounding error.
Nothing wrong. To be serious, there's 0 wrong with taking money off the table right now. I mean, this is absolutely absurd. Not taken away from. I mean, I think there's an insanely bright future. There's a ton of capital being invested. We're going to see amazing stuff, and absolutely projects will be great investments today, but certainly there's a ton of projects that are going to 0 right now. So
this is my
Did you
favorite
guys see that
thing,
Budweiser bought Tom Sachs rocket? I hadn't seen that.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and they made it their avatar on Twitter.
dude, if you're a company that makes a boatload of cash, it makes sense to allocate some capital off your balance sheet to some of this stuff.
We've been doing it for months.
Yeah, there we go. Believe me. Okay, I see you, kid. Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's right. It's I don't know. Inflation seems very real. We talked a little bit about this in Vegas, and look at all the marketing that they got out of it. Look at what Visa got out of their marketing, and then from a long-term standpoint, I imagine balance sheets will shift more towards alternative assets. Not necessarily just strictly NFTs, but I'm sure companies that are generating a lot of cash flow will look for alternatives.
I saw an interesting thread today kind of about that, basically it was like talking about whether or not NFTs are a bubble, saying that like NFTs aren't the bubble, it's just like human wealth, and that like now 1% of adults are millionaires, which I think is like the highest percentage ever, has to be, and that like the real bubble is just the amount of US dollars that is flowing into people's bank accounts that allows all this other stuff, like Louis Vuitton's founder being the wealthiest man in the world and all of that.
Let's do this. Let's talk, because we waited to talk some basketball with Pete, and then we're obviously going to talk Top Shot tonight as well, but wanted to hit on the overall NFT mania. Pete, what were your takeaways from our Vegas basketball game? We already kind of did a general Vegas recap.
Yeah, I was terrible. Not in my best mental state. Fucking get hurt right away. Moving shitty. Drinking too many beers. Overweight. Jack was great. I think Levy surprised in a really positive way. And yeah, it was fun. I just wish I hadn't gotten hurt. But it's so standard. I got tweaked my ankle before. It's just embarrassing. Getting old sucks. Doing Pilates today. My toe hurt out of nowhere. What is going on?
Yeah, I will say Jack backed up a lot of his trash talk. His game was very solid. Also, a lot of the VIPs, obviously Fuzz as advertised, very good. Ricky Beers just has that like old man rec league game, just down pat, just so smooth. Clay, little floater, looking good out there. Who else am I forgetting? Frankie was in a 3-point competition. Pete, he took you to the ropes, right?
Yeah.
I could have easily lost there, which
that was awesome to watch. You guys,
that would have been. It went from a C- performance, maybe D, but at least I won my shooting prop, which is that was the only thing I had like pointed to that I think I could compete in. And I mean, making 18 out of 25 is very good.
Yeah. We had so we ended up doing some 3-on-3 games. We ended up doing some full court.
We're just blowing by that.
Yeah, just glossing over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys.
I mean,
we had Clay who was throwing up mid-game. And we still had a win.
Andy, Pete, and Pete. Why don't you guys tell us about the game? I'm randomly picking three of us.
I think all three of us underperformed in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a fact.
I will say,
can Pete, Peter, Andy, can we say anything positive that we did in that game?
No, that was my first time playing basketball in like 2.5 years, and it was rough. I think I've also learned I need to take better care of my respiratory system in general. But it was fun.
It was also the LeBron James series. Let's give some credit where credit's due. Jack was hands down the best player. So, Pete, I think you can step in.
Confirm that I can't shoot.
I think you can shoot.
Yeah. You had some nice. You had a little more range than you were giving yourself credit.
I took a lot of threes. They didn't really go in.
I'm proud of my Siakam comp in our game. Like your style,
I like that.
Forward, you can kind of do it all. Really good around the rim against shorter guys, less athletic guys. And I think Overzet can play. I think Overzet could be dynamic, but as a teammate, I did not set him up well.
No, I mean
moving.
I had no shot. My defense was solid. There weren't too many points scored against me.
Of course,
but I wasn't
playing good the next game when it didn't matter. How frustrating is that?
It's how it goes. It's how it goes. We will. I think we see Jack actually put in the work. Jack was at the gym. I guess the people who actually had been playing were you, Pete, and Jack. Because Pete, you were telling us you're playing every day. So
I am playing every day, and I got hurt. I mean, not that I would have done much better. I just felt like I had no I don't know. It's stupid to make excuses. I just sucked. I couldn't move. I already am like moving way worse than like 5 years ago. And then I, of course, it's worse. Like since the Achilles.
You're a dad now, you know.
Yeah, I'm a dad. I'm fine. It's so embarrassing. No bounce. Then I roll my ankle.
Selling punks, fathering children. It's all downhill.
Did everything you
made
can.
shots when it didn't matter. Shot bricks when it mattered. I mean, just standard. Just terrible. Other than my shooting competition, though, missing the first one, having to beat 18, 20 out of 25. I'll live with that.
Yeah, 20 out of 24 after the first miss. That was awesome.
Pete, are you out of the doghouse after your insane, couple weeks?
I'm more in the doghouse than ever right now. After today, especially. It's basically the same thing. I'm just constantly in the doghouse. But Gracie's 6 months. We went to her appointment yesterday. That was fun.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just been crazy. I mean, I have all this work I need to do. And yesterday I stared at NFTs the whole day.
Yep.
It's like the Elon Musk thing, instead of cryptos, it's like JPEGs with the women bending over, whatever. Like your life's work, and then you're distracted.
Yeah, there's a funny one with the Elmo thing, and it was like sleep or NFTs, and the NFTs is like the pile of cocaine. And he's like,
yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, that's what I did yesterday.
Did you buy anything yesterday, Pete?
I bought. Dude, did you see? I had one of my sharpest actual buy ever, like in the scheme, like in the moment. I bought the punk that was a stone floor, just has happened to refresh my page, and I immediately recognized it was like almost identical to the Visa bunk. So I think I could sell that for a pretty significant premium after a day. And it's lower than the floor already. Plus, it has that punk vibe. I don't know. So that was. I got
an Ashley like for my response when I said that yours had a better makeup job. Ashley was into that comment. Yeah.
Did you say a CryptoPunk has a punk vibe, Pete? Is that what you said?
It was the same as the Visa punk, and it's a punk. It's like an actual punk. And I've been so wrong about CryptoPunks, though, too. Like, if I just would have come in February when I had a strong thesis on this, I mean, I spent hundreds of Ethereum, including the big one that I bought before Gracie's birthday. I would have allocated all that ETH to floor punks, I'd be positioned way better.
Honest question, Pete, and just because we are in this like profile picture, 10K generative art stuff, like what is it? Because you also bought a lot of one art. I'm blanking on the artist right now, but do you get offers on those? What is the market for some of that one of one art?
Yeah, I misplayed that probably in the scheme of things. Like X copy is clearly the probable. Like, and if you could go back in time and like invest in like an artist on super rare, which I'm super bullish on super rare. Yeah, I bought some pieces I really liked, and that's what I did it for. And of course, there's some absurd prices, and hopefully over time, maybe those do decently. But yeah, I think it's really cool for the artist. And the most interesting thing that I'd love Andy's take, because he had probably the most negative. I've seen a lot of people are really behind the super rare token, and for the most part, I thought it was really cool. And I do think the exclusive, like high-end one-of-one super rare branding is something that's like a pro and a con that they're trying to like optimize for. And I know Andy had somewhat of a negative view. So I guess that's like the good reason. I mean, those tokens have appreciated a lot.
Oh yeah, and like really, super rare is awesome. I think that in general, what they're doing makes a lot of sense. I'm actually looking up at their prices right now. I'm curious.
At least it was nice. Like 170 earlier. What is it now?
Yeah, it's like 170. Actually on the dot. But so for anyone who's not aware, basically like kind of what the token does is people are able to like vote in these like I don't remember what they call them, but it's almost like a gallery style thing, but more like for curating NFTs for sale and all that kind of stuff. And the way that you go about like applying to be someone to curate these galleries is you have to like submit it to a board of 9 people, and that just like isn't going to scale. And a long time ago, people made up these things called token curated registries, which is basically like where token holders make a list on the blockchain of what they want, like what they value the most. And it's like a perfect use case for that. And so I was just tweeting out like, hey, why didn't you guys do this? This is kind of a perfect use case for it. And the response was they want to do it. It just take more time because it's more complicated. So it seems like they're going to go in that direction anyways, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring this up too. Pete, I don't know if it's your mic. When someone moves their mouse on there, I think we hear it pretty bad. I think it's you, Pete.
Let's test. Go.
I'm on mute. It's definitely my mouse. This?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
God, it's tilting.
Pete, it doesn't sound like, do you have a mic? It sounds like you're on your computer audio right now.
Do you have a mouse pad?
Pete, what's your setup right now?
Yeah, what's your set? I mean, I know money's
ready
tight.
With this mouse on it. So then this mouse, unfortunately, I spilled wine on and doesn't work.
You have those like fancy Apple mice? Good.
We need to get you an arm bar or whatever.
What's the studio done?
Okay, so truth be told, it is done. I'm going over to Adam Levitan's on Thursday. He has like one of the guys who worked at ETR or something. They're doing like a setup, and then he's going to come to my place to do a setup for me.
Is this Jordan?
Whoever's setting up Levitan stuff, I think you might have helped with that too.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, you'll be in good shape. Okay, Clay is gonna hop off. He's gonna come back later tonight. Shout out Clay. He is the best. Clay, any final words right here for the crew?
No, Vegas was amazing. Also, I bought my first Perlini today, so I was with my big.
No, get him off. Get him off.
No,
wait. Shill away.
No, we're friends of the purse.
I got 20 of those. I got 20 of them. Let's go.
Did you see who tweeted about the purse today, Jack?
Gary V.
I did.
Future guest of the pod. Future guest of the pod. No, but I just gotta say thank you all. Vegas was amazing. Had a absolute blast, even with my sideline for the afternoon. But it was fantastic. And Club NFT channel, I'm definitely hyped being in there with y'all. So see you guys soon.
You just discovered it?
I just found the courage to dive in.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
They'll rug you,
it's a drug.
I
mean, speaking of rug, Jack, what happened with those soccer cards you bought in Vegas?
They're long-term plays. One of
my favorite long-term plays is completely abandoned projects that like 4 guys think are really cool.
I just got involved. MLB champions.
Yo, chill. I'm trying to pack my bags.
Are
on
you?
Those. Yeah.
Why didn't you DM me? I've been in the streets so aggressively.
I've been busy with some OGs of the project who were around when they were like Top Shot level collectors.
Yeah, I know. All right.
All right. We'll talk about it later.
We'll pack.
They're kind of expensive, but also not like.
I bought all the cheap shit last weekend.
I'm waiting to get. I'm illiquid right now, actually, which it was a good run for a few months. I had liquidity. Now I'm illiquid. I'm waiting on my zombie tokens to cash out. Andy, can you explain what the situation is with our?
Oh yeah, I need an update. On this too.
Yeah. So there's a buyout going on for the zombie. It's a really good learning experience. So a lot of people are like, "Wait, what's happening?" Which is crazy. I mean, people put millions of dollars into this thing with literally no idea how it works. That's insane.
Don't be an asshole. Crazy. Don't be an asshole.
I mean,
what you think we're gonna do our own research? No, we trust you.
All right. Yeah. So basically, what's happening is someone is currently actively buying out the zombie, and so the way that works now is it's on auction for the next like 4 days. The initial bid and current bid is 1,095 Ethereum, I believe. And so the way that he got in at a relatively low price for the first bid is he bought 20% and then set his reserve price as low as possible to get it down. But I'm very confident that we'll end up in the green here once it's all said and done. There was an offer put in for a zombie today for like 1,800 Ethereum. There was another one that sold that's pretty ugly for 1,600. So I feel pretty good that it'll find itself in the 1,600 to 1,700 range.
What kind of market? I mean, is there kind of widespread awareness that this auction is going on? Like I assume within the Cryptopunks Discord, that community, that people are aware of this.
There's a decent amount. So we had a pretty good example of this with an Art Blocks auction that happened a couple days ago on Fractional, where it like sat at the floor of 120 ETH as the first bid up until there was like 3 hours left, and then it ended up going for like 360 ETH. I think generally there's just no reason to bid until the last day. So really, once an auction starts, that 7-day period is kind of just like 7 days to gain awareness and people to be like, okay, I need to have $5-6 million ready to bid on this thing. I think it takes a little time for most people to be ready to deploy that kind of money.
Is there any fear that like with the Art Block stuff, it's 140 ETH versus something like this where you need 1,000 plus ETH, that there's not as many people that would potentially have that ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It definitely is possible.
I mean, I think if it falls into the last couple hours, like you said, like if there's not a rumor, but if it starts flying around Twitter that, this zombie is going to sell way under market, that people will find out, which I think in the case of 150 ETH or 180 is a little easier, at least than, finding five. I don't have 5 mil in my ledger ready to fire on, but apparently a lot of people in this industry do.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. And so when does that auction end, Andy?
A couple days. Let me see. I think I have it up. It ends in a little under 3 days. 3 days and 3 hours.
And then
what's
the mechanism for dead holders then? Do you get paid out in dead, or are you getting paid out in ETH?
Baby.
Yeah, so basically on that vault page where you can like see everything, you'll just have a button to redeem your Ethereum, and from there you'll get ETH comparable to the amount that you put in.
The Art Blocks one, was that fractionally owned, or that was just a straight buyout?
Yeah, that was on Fractional as well.
No, I know that. But was it like someone just tried buying it out, or was it similar?
You can't buy it out without an auction, right? Isn't it automatic?
Yeah, it has to be.
No, I know, but was there supply? Was there supply? Is what I'm asking.
There was some.
Gotcha.
And then I'm thinking generally once these auctions start, everyone pulls their supply.
Gotcha. Because what I'm thinking is like, while it is tough to find 1,000 plus ETH, having so many investors in it, being loud will be one of the upsides of kind of being invested in the thing. Is us all shouting from the mountaintops, "Hey, this zombie's going for cheap. Someone should buy it."
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a
definitely.
good question from Tony. How's it work? Can you still buy shares? Like, because at the
So you
current
could.
price, it's cheap, right?
So actually, the fractions have been bought up pretty heavily. Actually, last I checked, it got bought up to like a 1,600 Ethereum valuation, which
Gotcha.
generally means people are estimating that it'll be bought out. The final auction will end around 1,600 Ethereum. You theoretically can. I think basically everyone who was a liquidity provider pulled their liquidity because you're kind of like a sitting duck at that point, and people will essentially just kind of arb that pool until it gets to the right price. And then as a liquidity provider there, you're just kind of going to end up losing money. So I think
So
everyone
you couldn't pull tokens essentially right now. You could just buy in, right?
Yeah, well, so some like the tokens work totally the same up and like forever until
Gotcha.
even once the auction ends. They're still just normal tokens you can use. Just at any point you can burn them and get Ethereum.
Gotcha.
And so theoretically, yes, you could still buy them. I do not believe there are really any on exchanges at this point because like it's the right like sharp thing to do to pull those tokens once it gets to this point. But yeah, so in theory you could still buy or sell them, but right now there isn't really much of a market because people just want to wait and see what the auction does.
Gotcha.
Are there any other general NFT topics you guys want to hit before we transition to the titular topic of Top Shot?
Anyone follow the Feisty Doge NFT on Fractional?
I heard about it. Tell us about it.
So Feisty Doge was one of the, I think it was 9 Doge NFTs that was auctioned off on Zora a few months ago. So Pleaser DAO bought the original Doge, and then alongside that there was like Angry Doge, Feisty Doge, I don't know, a bunch of other ones. And so this one was fractionalized as Feisty Doge NFT. It was originally bought for 13 Ethereum back forever ago, and so the guy who bought it listed it at a 500 Ethereum valuation and put up like 5% of the token supply, and it's currently trading at a 17,000 Ethereum valuation or $55 million implied valuation, with like $20 million in volume a day. It's really insane.
That's crazy. So, I mean, when it gets that high up, it seems very unlikely that a buyout would be triggered. Or am I not thinking about this in the right way?
Yeah, so like this is really for the memes, I think. I think that one of the things that'll be interesting kind of in general is seeing with a lot of these things that are fractionalized that are one of ones or kind of outside of a collection where it's easy to value what is inside of it, is at that point it's all just mimetic and it's just, how much is this worth? Who the hell knows? We're just going to make up our own numbers because it's backed by Feisty Doge. And the odds that so the current reserve price to buy this out is $180 million. The odds that someone does that are slim. I don't really see that happening. So then at that point, it'll probably never be bought out, and it's just this meme thing that's locked in and fractionalized probably in perpetuity.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I was listening to Deez on a podcast too, and he was talking about, I think, his punk that he fractionalized, and it was like he put up a certain percentage of it and then it sold out, and so then he put up another portion of it to where then he didn't own, he wasn't a majority owner at some point. With this like Doge one, is the entire thing up, or is some of the fraction of it still maintained by the original owner?
So there are 5,679 unique owners right now. The original owner seems to currently own, he has 37, a little under 37% in his wallet. Okay. And then it looks like he's probably got another, at most, 10% in exchanges. So it seems like realistically they're no longer the majority owner. They own less than 50% unless they're doing it in other wallets. But generally it's like a really, really wide distribution. There's only 6 addresses that have more than 1% of the tokens. So it's pretty spread out at this point, outside of that original owner still having a non-trivial amount. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how they, or if they plan to kind of slowly offload that over time, or what they want to do.
And then I'm asking dumb questions just so I can better understand it. So can someone change? So say he has 37% and he had made an initial percentage available. Can he then up the valuation on the next, say, 15% that he makes available? So people are actually buying in at different prices.
Yeah, so that all can be done through Uniswap v3. So with Uniswap v3, as opposed to like SushiSwap or some of these other exchanges where it's just like a pool of liquidity where both sides are even. So say it's non-fungible feisty Doge and Ethereum. On SushiSwap, you have to provide $1,000 of one and $1,000 of the other, and then they trade against each other, and you'll always have $1,000 of each, or an even amount of each. On Uniswap v3, it acts a little more like an order book. So you could say, I want to sell 5% from a $1 valuation to a $2 valuation, and then I want to sell 10% from a $2 valuation to a $5 valuation, and then from there I want to list another 15% with like from $5 to $100, and then just kind of like let people you can kind of like create your own curve of how the token is priced on the exchange. It's pretty.
I mean, that
really
would
choose your own adventure.
Makes sense in that, you have a baseline amount you're willing to up, and then you see the interest and you're like, well, I have my price to part with more of this. Yeah. And then it just it's almost like the idea of dollar cost averaging, but for releasing your fractional shares.
Yeah, exactly. It actually acts like almost exactly like that. Where to say if you were to set, you set 5% between $1 and $2 valuation, then if at $1.75 valuation, you'd have 75% of Ethereum and 25% of the token you initially listed. And so it allows you to kind of slowly sell it over time. I think a lot of people don't totally understand that like being a liquidity provider is basically like having cells in an order book. And so there's a lot of education that needs to go on there, but that's essentially what's happening.
Yeah. See, Pete, that's what I would have loved to have done with our punk, right? Where we know the market's frothy. We know we want to take some profits off the table. You sell some fractions of it. Then it runs up. You're like, all right, maybe we sell a little fraction. You still maintain a bit of it.
You're still a punker. You're not a no punker.
You're still a punker, and you're doing your due diligence and taking profits off the table. Whereas it's hard to have an asset worth that much be such a binary thing. And that's why Andy invented fractional, which we would have utilized it.
Are you guys seeing this Mooncat situation? They're at a 1/8 floor.
Also, is that a lot? Is that the shit you
It's the highest I've ever gotten, I think.
Did you see you won an Ultra Blade on Nifty Island?
Yeah, I knew that.
What is that?
I need to claim it. I'm an investor in them, actually, as well. I got lucky.
Wow, influencer stuff.
Yeah, there's perks. Nifty Island is like a metaverse game what I like about them comparatively to like Cryptovoxels or Decentraland or some of the other ones is that they're a little bit more game focused, where they want to kind of create a more like a RuneScape-y or even larger like open world game where everyone can have their own island where they can and you can like make your island however you want it, whether it's a trading post or kind of create your own experience on that island, and then potentially like earn money based on people going to your island and doing the things that are on it, which I think is really interesting. But I just appreciate that they're taking a bit more game focused approach to the metaverse world as opposed to just like walking around and looking at your art.
Mike, you said you've been having lots of sleepless nights. Anything in particular catching your eye here?
I've gotten a little bit weird recently. For a long time, I was only Top Shot. Then for a long time after that, I was only Top Shot in punks, and as a result of that, I missed lots and lots of Moon Boy opportunities. Bored Apes and Gutter Cats and Cool Cats and I don't know, all the cats, all the dogs, all the pineapples, all this good stuff. I was like, this is absurd. I'm not doing it, and it's probably cost me a few $100,000, and that's okay. And so weird things I've been doing this week. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there was a very large Fidenza sale.
Yeah.
Fidenza. Andy, not to keep coming back to you, why is Fidenza worth as much as Fidenza is worth? And I feel like that may be a hard question to answer, but
it's really just because they're pretty. I think that they're a very aesthetically pleasing art block. The guy, Tyler, who made them is extremely well respected in the generative art space. And then they kind of caught the cultural mind share, and now there's just agreed that Fidenzas, Ringers, and Chromie Squiggles are the 3 best art blocks. And at any given time, one will be the most valued, and that's just kind of like culturally accepted at this point. And I think they look really sick, personally.
So I agree they look sick, but they're trading for very significant sums of real life US dollars. And one of them sold for like what, 3.3 million real US dollars the other day. And
that guy probably overbought. He probably paid too much for that one.
Yeah. So after that, the floor kind of went up a bit, and I decided this is a good opportunity to get into the fractional arbing game. And so there was a fractional vault with a Fidenza in it trading for, I don't know, 125 implied valuation. And the floor of any whole Fidenza, I guess, non-fractional one, was 150. And so I figured at some point it makes sense for someone to launch a buyout. And that one actually has a kind of high reserve price, but still I think people will trade their way up to kind of the floor price. And so I bought it in at 125 and it went up to 180 actually, and I sold out. And so it was a little 40-50% gain over like a 12-hour period. And so I'm trying to do more things like that. Buying a few. I bought a few.
I'm trying to do more things like that.
Seems like a good idea, Mike.
More 1 day 40% gains. It'd be nice.
At scale.
Yeah, more fractional vaults.
That was like me replying to Rovell today of like, if the guy who flipped the punk for like 110 grand every day did it for a year, he'd make $40 million. Like, yeah, we're all trying to hit those 50% 12-hour. Think about if you had held for 24 hours. Maybe you get the full 100%, Mike.
I don't know what it's at now. I don't have to look after I
It's
sell.
at 160. I just checked.
Is it 160? Look at that. Good timing. And then what else? I've scooped up a few other art blocks projects. I've minted a few things. I mentioned MLB Champions. I'm trying to get into that scene. I was a rent seeker for Pudgy Penguins. I was a rent seeker for Fidenza Fractional. I will not be a Top Shot rent seeker, and I think that's the primary concern for this audience.
Can we transition to that?
Let's do some.
Let me cover one more thing real quick because I've seen a couple people ask about it. So Art Blocks is raised the starting price of their Dutch auctions, and so essentially to give a little bit of preface here. So Art Blocks previously they would do a fixed price sale, and it was basically a gas war to get the NFTs because they were selling them for way too little. They were selling them for 0.1 Ethereum each. They were selling 1,000. The artist was making a couple of $100,000, and then they were immediately trading for 10x on OpenSea. And so people were paying 10 times more in gas than they were to actually mint the piece. And so then Art Blocks moved to a Dutch auction where I think they were starting at 3 Ethereum, and they would slowly move down and down until it got to, I think, a floor of like 0.25 or something. And that way, when it got to a price where you were comfortable, you could mint, and hopefully they could stop some of the gas craziness and give some of that money back to the artists, which I think is awesome. And so now they've had, an insane amount of demand for everything art blocks. The floor for the cheapest art blocks curated NFT is like 3 Ethereum, which was their max on the Dutch auction. And so they're raising it to 5, and they said maybe even 10. And people are really mad about it. But like, it's the weirdest thing ever to be like, oh, there's too much demand for these things, and I don't want to actually pay fair market value. So how dare you raise the price of the art that I want to buy because there's so many people who want it? I'd rather give that money to like the miners and pay extra gas to get it. It's extremely strange. And if you are like legitimately upset that you're going to have to pay fair market value for the NFTs
you don't think
you're buying
it's
from
actually
artists, you should
strange,
reconsider.
though. Like you.
But if you think that, you're an idiot. Yeah.
Right.
Like if you think that, you should really reevaluate like how you're thinking about these things, because like you're basically saying, I think I should be given things for free because I've earned it, and how dare the people who are working hard on this stuff and creating things with an insane amount of demand get paid.
Sounds like a lot like February.
I had a long DM conversation with someone about this, where their argument, and I disagree with this. We'll say lightly, is that the low entry price is actually good for art blocks and for the artists because it creates all this fervor around it and gas wars, and then the price goes up from mint. And I'm just like, all you're basically saying is the artist gets the first $10, the flippers and miners get the next $180, and the ultimate owners buy it at $190 that they would have paid for it anyway. Just start it at $190, cut out all this middleman, give the artist his money, and let the ultimate collectors pay the same amount that they would anyway. And
yeah,
that's
it's annoying that it's like even a conversation. I think it's great that the artists who are making stuff that everyone loves and want to pay 100 Ethereum for are going to get paid the right amount for the work they're making. But I think it was worth saying because I saw a few people ask me about it in the comments.
All right. The main course, what started us on this journey to begin with, a little thing called NBA Top Shot. Dare I say it's having quite the renaissance. If you've checked your account valuations, lots of green. Fellas, how we feeling about the Top Shot moms?
I want to start this with a heated debate with Mike because we're going back and forth on Twitter today. And so if you missed earlier today, Mike posed the question, would you rather own Ja Morant Series 1 Top Shot debut mint to 1,000 or Zion Williamson Top Shot debut mint to 1,370 or whatever it is? And I told him, I said, it's not even close. The answer is Zion. So Mike, would you like to plead your case?
Sure. So I think if we knew with certainty that neither of them suffered any injuries throughout their career, and if they had the same exact edition size, I think it's a slam dunk Zion Williamson answer.
Unintended.
I think Zion's a better and more impactful player today. Interestingly, Ja may have kind of more fun highlights in general. Zion's block highlight and the play on Top Shot in particular is fun. But Ja is like a highlight machine, and he's a lot of fun to watch. My primary argument, I would say also, this is like 51%, 49% for me. It's basically equal. Ja has only 1,000 in circulation versus 1,357, which is, that's a pretty significant percentage.
So
difference.
Let's start there. It is a significant percentage, but I think everything we've seen, especially in the Top Shot world, is like that shit doesn't matter at all. Like if there's players so the gap that I think those two players are at, like let's say a LeBron down to a Jason Tatum, like LeBron mint to 1,000 blows away Jason Tatum mint to 275 or anything like that. So I think that's the first part is like, yes, 37% or however you want to ratio it, like is a large percentage, but in the Top Shot world, I don't think that actually plays a factor at all. Like I rarely am looking at mint count to see like the Series 1 differences.
Oh, I think people look, and I think it's a fairly close battle as is. And so if you're looking for things to differentiate, I think that's enough of a difference for it to matter. I think if you look across base sets that don't have anything special about them, that aren't Top Shot debut or anything else, you can see that there's a bit of a pricing discrepancy based on the edition size. And Andy, the pioneer of market cap analysis, would suggest that it makes a basically 1-for-1 impact on that. And obviously that that oversimplifying it, I don't mean to put words in Andy's mouth, but the market cap analysis would suggest that unless you think Zion is whatever it is, 35%, 40% better than Ja should get an edge based on the edition size. And it's not as simple as that, but I do think it matters more than 0. And then I'm very, very confident that whether it's 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, 8 years into Zion's career, he's going to break down. Knees, hips, feet, whatever it is, Greg Oden style. And he's enormous. He's 300 pounds, and he jumps the way he does, and he lands the way he does. Like 300 pounds landing on those knees over and over again. He's not going to last. I think it's like a near certainty he's going to get injured at some point. And yes, Ja throws himself at the rim like a nut job and tries to block shots like into the fourth row, with no, with reckless abandon. But Ja may get lucky and not get hurt. Zion will get hurt, in my view. And so for those reasons, I'd rather.
Is there okay? Ja. So I guess My question, because you said which would I rather hold, so I'm gonna go more the upside route. I think, right? You hold. I don't know if it's because you hold a lot of Ja, right? Don't you hold a ton of the MGLE or
Yeah, that's what I was
something?
gonna say. Is I would
Is
want to
that-
hold Ja only because I know that Mike holds 150 of the 1,000 Jaws
No,
that
but
he'll
let
never
me
sell.
give the
So the
full-
supplies
let me
to
give
fill.
the
I'm not even referring to that. I'm saying
I hold 10 Zion MGLE and only like 3 Ja.
right.
It's
Okay,
the same
so
play, and they move together.
So
I own way
outside of
more the
injury
Ja
risk,
game. Yes.
outside of injury risk, can you give one on court like thesis for why you would want Ja?
On court in terms of like, am I starting an NBA team or I am a fan collector who's a more popular
Anything.
player?
Like, is there any world where both are healthy?
Yeah,
that
Ja is score 50 in a game than Zion is.
That I don't think that's true at all.
He's like done it in the playoffs. He scored like 47 in his most recent playoff game. Zion scores between like 25 and 28 every game.
I'm pretty sure Zion averaged more points than Ja did last season.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He averages more.
By 8 points per game. He was an all-star in his second year.
I know,
Ja Morant is the most overrated player in the NBA.
He's a
Here we
big
go.
fan.
Yes, he
sells
is.
more jerseys.
And I
He
said
sells
when
more
Bale's
jerseys. He sells more jerseys. He scored 47 points in his last playoff game before he got hurt this year.
They lost 4 straight playoff games.
He made the playoffs. He made the playoffs.
Listen, he's a great basketball player. His potential is unbelievable. But the player comparing him to has a potential actually that way exceeds Ja Morant. Like, Ja Morant's final form could never be like Zion could technically be LeBron James if he continued on this trajectory, which from year to year was fucking.
I was kind of on the Zion.
He was getting Bron Cups 365 days ago.
What?
Zion was getting.
I'm actually totally on Jack's side here for what it's worth. I think that Zion's ceiling is like one of the 25 best players in the history of the NBA, and Ja's ceiling is like he's made small NBA teams and he's good. I'm saying that's like their ceiling. Yeah. And so like if I have to hold one of them, I want the really high upside, and like the potential upside of Zion is just like in no way comparable to Ja. So, it's like not even close.
I also am not. Like, obviously, I root for RJ Barrett. Mike, you have a lot of RJ Barrett holdings. I'm like not a huge believer in RJ Barrett. Like, I think he's just looked very average through his first couple years in the league. His jump from year 1 to 2, but like he put up identical numbers and shot 10% better from 3 last year. And no one wants to touch RJ Barrett. And all of a sudden, everyone wants Ja Morant. Like, I really do not think the two are close at all.
I think guys, overrating the impact of like on-court skills versus top shot moment. He's an extremely popular player.
Jack, you need to let me host the show. You guys misread the room. People want to talk about the macro stuff with Top Shot. We ease into this debate. This is the last 10 minutes of the show conversation. Can we talk about Top Shot going to the moon, the things that are influencing that, the mania that we haven't seen for months? You guys want to argue about player takes. Let's get focused here, guys.
Oh, I thought the drink change. What do we got going on, Mike?
It's so weird.
I'm helping you out here.
My friend bought this when he came over one time. It's a Party Jam passion fruit kettle soured wild ale with passion fruit.
Where's that from? Where's that from?
I've had that one. I've had
that. Yeah, nice. I got a gin and tonic. I'm mixing it up. I got some I got some berries in here that our friends got us from vacation. They're very nice.
Are you squeezing the Summer League ball?
Yes. This was I got this physically airdropped to me at the UNLV, just barehanded it. Beautiful catch. Jack, I'm going to give you a take 2 here. I want a soliloquy about what's going on in the marketplace right now and why people should be excited.
We're fucking pumping. I mean, what else is there to talk about? Like, what do you come to this show for? I finally wanted to talk basketball. Like, we start an hour, all these nerds on the screen. Oh, punks and fractional. Like, Top Shot's pumping. That's basketball.
No, Jack, don't try to play that card.
I figured we want to talk fucking hoops on this stream.
No. Jack, on Instagram today, you literally wrote a novel about how NFTs are changing everything and how
they are.
Your photo. So don't act like you're not one of the nerds.
No. Of course I'm one of the nerds, and I only put the punk first because it's good for the algorithm. You should know that content plays are content plays. But Top Shot is pumping. I said it weeks ago that Top Shot's still my favorite project. we gave them feedback, probably shitty feedback looking back, and everything anyone's ever said about them was probably wrong as well. People's accounts are like fucking green. That was never expected to happen. I'm refreshing my account valuation every single day. I'm considering spending 10 grand to get into some dumbass Discord. Like, Top Shot is back. Like, FOMO is alive and well. Is this another top? Potentially, but I don't really care right now. I'm along for the ride. And I think it's easier to onboard money right now. And really, this is my actual take from the last few weeks is I genuinely believe that all NFT money cycles back into the good projects, and the good projects today are Punks. And then if you're a sports fan, it's NBA Top Shot. So I think when Andy was talking about, if something went to zero, how would I feel about it? That's kind of like everyone held through Top Shot, right? Like half because they were down so much that it was like, I'm not going to sell at this price, but half because there was NBA IP attached to it. There's no Pudgy Penguins IP at this point. No offense to the Penguins. There's no Cool Cats. Fuck the Perlinis. Like he's Fuck the only, like, but NBA had that, and I think it rang true. And now, still in beta, people. Don't forget, we're still in beta. WNBA on the way, which I'll be super pumped for. Rake back allegedly. I don't know if that's ever coming. Run It Back is coming. The trade tickets are coming. Out of beta for season 3 after everything we've seen. It's like, oh, everything we joked about utility-wise 6 months ago and like how it's going to save the market, like literally is playing out in front of our eyes. And the only thing that hasn't happened, and it's the reason why Punk's moon and why Fidenza's move, is someone makes a huge play and shows an insane amount of consumer confidence. And that's happened at the lower level. 1 or 2 6-figure sales at the high level, like Andy said today, the high value moments, they seem underpriced as compared to fucking squiggles. And so if that happens and things and so this was always a thing because the 5 of us had larger Top Shot holdings. We were never, we weren't, I mean, in quantity and quality. You had a lot of Van Vliets. We had more moments, but everyone was like, we're always forgetting about the bottom, right? The bottom half of the market, and we only talk about the top. As much as like the amount of activity at the bottom is so crucial to the market, the consumer confidence of like huge things moving, that's what drives these things at the end of the day. And I think people delisting moments or like moving prices up, like the Cosmics, no one's even dropped it down to 250, which I actually think is like the more appropriate price. Like it feels like there's stronger hands now. And once someone comes in and makes a play, like, I don't know, things could set on fire even further. That's what I think. And RJ Barrett's better than Ja Morant.
That's not true. I think one of the key things that Jack touched on a bit is like, if anyone who is still holding a Top Shot moment that they didn't dump to go into the mania that has been the last 4 months of NFTs on Ethereum, I'm not sure they're selling it for less than what they got it for. Like, it isn't like I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think that a lot of that stuff is in extremely strong hands currently, and so it'll be very interesting to see kind of as because I don't even really feel like there's that much hype happening in the Top Shot market right now. I think on this podcast we're talking about it, like on this live stream, but it's not like I'm getting a ton of messages from people like, oh my God, are you seeing what's happening in Top Shot? Like, this must be crazy. I'm not having the same friends and people who were asking me about Top Shot back in February and March reaching out again. It's not like there's some crazy mania around it. It just kind of feels like that it's found its stride a little bit, and it's not even in season. I'm probably paying the least amount of attention to basketball that I do all year right now. That's the whole irony
of it, right? Like everyone was saying it'll pump during the playoffs, and then it's going to be the off-season winter, and it's been the opposite. It dumped in the playoffs, and now it's mooning here when nothing's going on.
Which now, 2020 vision is always like that, but I didn't foresee it. That's a known thing. I did think it would pump during the playoffs, but basketball collectibles in general, this is the exact cycle they always follow, which is NBA playoffs. There is a massive drop off because teams get eliminated. And then the offseason, you get hype, the draft, free agency, shuffling around, and you buy who you think is going to go off. It's a little sooner than maybe we figured it would, but the NBA season is like 57 days away. And so I don't think the cycle's crazy. And even more important than that was closing series 2. And I said this since April, which was like, I want to buy as many Emmanuel Quickly moments as I can, but I don't know what they're releasing tomorrow. And there was no roadmap. And I think that's going to be huge for series 3 too, which is there will, at least they've said there will be a roadmap. So people who are buying early on can at least know like what's coming down the line and things can be priced appropriately. So the closing of series 2, I hate that Run It Back is like summer series 2, whatever it is. Like I still don't love that. But once again, most of the feedback we've given, I feel like it's been terrible feedback. And I'm glad Dapper's kind of kept their head down. Like we haven't heard from Jacob or Roham or like any of those people for a while. And like, it's kind of nice.
What feedback do you think we gave was horrible?
Oh, like I feel like every time we got on the show, I mean, not just us, on Twitter, in the chat, like everyone felt like they knew what the answer to everything was. And I think like letting them kind of follow their plan was the best way to do it.
But yeah, I don't think that invalidates, constructive criticisms and things that
we're totally allowed to. I just think if you looked back at the takes, I don't have any off the top of my head. I would guess like we probably had some bad ideas that it was better that I don't know. That's my
I'm going to stand here and say I strongly said I think everyone's just pissed off because markets are down. Dapper's doing a great job right now. I feel like I was the guy in 300 for a while battling in the entirety of Twitter. I feel very vindicated right now. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy that people are generally positive again. Behind the scenes, I'm a little bit like, come on, you guys are this easy to please. Like, it's literally just how is your account value doing? And that will be it's directly correlated with how smart you think Dapper is and whether or not you think Dapper's doing a good job. It has almost nothing to do with what Dapper's actually doing. And so I think Dapper's been doing a nice job throughout. There have been like some things that have happened. I mean, is closing season 2 and putting up a kiosk at Summer League enough to pump the market 50%? No, I think that there's probably more macro things at play where there were a lot of people who had a lot of moments early on and were trying to sell out and everything else was pumping. And so people were pissed off because their Top Shot accounts were down and everything else was going up and yada, yada, yada. And so therefore everyone said Dapper must be stupid because the market's going down. And throughout, I think I've pushed pretty strong. I think Dapper's doing a great job behind the scenes. They're building a good foundation, strong IP. The NBA's incentivized all this good stuff. And like, I don't think they've done anything that crazy this offseason, but because the market's back up, everyone's very excited about what Dapper's doing.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if that much has changed other than, some excitement building on a lot of this utility. I do think stuff like Summer League and everyone you talk to, we didn't get to see the boost specifically, but I mean, it's kind of eye-opening what that can be for in-game utility throughout the season and just the excitement that's building from fans. I do really think as kind of a trial balloon or proof of concept, it really opened up the eyes to a lot of people about what this can become next season.
But what I think is interesting is like, I feel like, we've all said throughout from the very beginning when all of us got into Top Shot, it's like there will be in-arena type things. There will be like NBA affiliation. The NBA is incentivized to market it. Like none of this is surprising at all. It was just kind of a matter of when Top Shot and the NBA felt like they were ready for it. And so it's, I don't know. I just think it's interesting that people are almost like surprised this is happening and the market's reacting positively. It's like this should have all kind of been baked in already. Like this was what we were buying. We were buying this future.
Yeah. Jennings, you've been quiet over there, eating some dinner. Any Top Shot takes?
No, I mean, I think the best we've hit on some of the things, but Dapper Labs raised a boatload of money. They have a ton of capital through Flow. They have partnerships with some of the biggest brands in the world. It's something unique. I mean, we're seeing a lot of the same stuff recreated. There's all these profile pictures and just people trying to flip and make quick money. There's to me a big difference, and I've seen a couple sharp people make some moves, and people are asking about it behind the scenes. In Bales, who kind of, with that post got like the gasoline on the fire for what Top Shot was becoming. Saw he was buying some moments yesterday.
Really?
So, yeah,
Okay.
I think he was like trying to complete a set or something. But Jeremy's been buying some stuff. So to me, it's clearly one of the long-term winners. They've done a lot of really cool stuff. Flow's a great blockchain for NFTs, and they're going to continue to invest in a variety of things. We got Floaty coming soon. So lots of good stuff. I think this is exactly what Mike said. We bought this future. There's going to be ups and downs. And yeah, it's not the mania phase that it was before, but we're seeing some really positive signs. And yeah, the NBA is going to be great. I mean, we have a really good storyline too this year. Lakers could be awesome. The Nets are an insane team. Milwaukee coming out the championship. I mean, just go down the list. There's a bunch of teams that are really exciting. And I think the NBA will be a good product this year. I think Top Shot's going to be a huge part of the NBA. So
what do we think about kind of the, I guess let's call them the non-premium moments? I don't know, because it's frankly just not what I hold. I hold a lot of Series 1 stuff. The things that are like the 40,000 edition size bases and the 15,000 edition size bases and like the mediocre players, have those traded up in line with everything else? I almost feel like that there's been like a separation now where, because, and maybe this is aspirational, because there are more NBA fans who are arriving now, whether it's because summer league presence or some subtle marketing or whatever else, or people talking to their NBA friends and getting them involved, that people are gravitating towards better players and better moments and things like that. And it's not just kind of people buying the first thing they see because they can sell it for more tomorrow. It's people either want to own them or they at least see the value of owning a top player. So I don't know. I mean, if we look at the Vince Carter final shot, the Ja or the Zion debut, any of this stuff, that stuff's all up, I don't know, 3 or 4x from the floor it hit in the most recent bottom. Is that the same case across the board? My gut would say it's probably not the case.
So it's the team set stuff. The team set stuff is obviously doing well. And we've always talked about, like, we don't want them creating the markets for us. But I think they've shown different forms of utility from those 40K moments, whether they're going to be trade tickets, whether they complete your trade or your team sets, and whatever they might be in the future, trading them in to do activations or move up in queues or get into queues, add collector score. I think holding moments to be at a collector score was valuable installation from them as well. So we don't want it manufactured kind of for us, but no, they're not 10x like some other moments may, but I think everything's doing generally well.
I think those moments should be burned down the road. That's my view. Is I've heard this approach a lot, but I like the idea of redeeming those for some form of utility within the NBA. Maybe you redeem some moments for league pass or tickets or whatever. And I think it'd be really cool if they were like burned, like, hey, you have to burn this moment to get XYZ incentives. And that would naturally lower the supply over time.
So I like that, and it's something I've talked a lot about before, but I also think there's like a world similar to normal sports card world where not every single moment you have is worth something. It's just sometimes you open a pack of cards and you get 3 moments that are worth $1 each, and okay, so be it.
But I think that's, you talk about being the digital sports card of the future, like, we don't actually want that. I think that's kind of where Jennings makes a good point, is like, it would be amazing if you could just burn it. Instead of it being worthless, it actually could be used, even if it's not worth, something monetarily.
So I wouldn't want it to be a crazy amount of value. Just something with supply.
There are advantages to the whole digital world. What I would love to see is that when you open a pack, you're excited about the players who are in there. I like this player. I like this team. Not like, oh, has Dapper installed something that actually makes this floor thing worth more than Ish Smith would be worth? And I don't want to distance ourselves too much from that. And where I love the digital concept is data, for example. NBA owners right now, I've talked to a few people about this. The data they have on their fan base is very little. We'll say they know who's a season ticket holder. They don't even know which games those season ticket holders actually attended themselves, because someone sends a paper ticket to someone else or a PDF and an email to someone else. That person goes to the game. They have no idea. From Top Shot standpoint, a collector, what team they've chosen to follow or opt in as their favorite team. How many hours a day they spend on Top Shot, which moments they looked at for the longest time. We were talking about this at lunch in Vegas, that documentary, A Social Dilemma, just talks about how Twitter tracks if you spend 3 extra seconds on one image, they'll show you more stuff like that. And they track everything like that. I hope and assume Top Shot's doing things like that, and they can take all that data. They build a profile of each one of us, and they say to a team, this is someone you should target for season tickets. This is someone who has shown collector tendencies who actually cares about your team. They collect more Pistons moments than the average person. They attended these 6 games this year because those in-arena Top Shot moments, as fun as they are for us, what's better about them is they give these teams data which game you went to. And there's like nothing else in the world that can replicate that in an easy way. And that data is incredibly, incredibly valuable. It's what makes Twitter, Facebook, Instagram worth any amount of money. Forget about tens of billions of dollars. And to me, that's the digital appeal of Top Shot. And these other things that you can do with it, I think, are nice, but I don't want to get too far away from just like these are basketball cards that we're supposed to like the players.
Yeah. One take here, Andy, I'm curious on your thoughts on this take. Surge was driven by NFT Summer. Profits from Avatar art projects have made their way back into the TS ecosystem, and then Top Shot capitalized by doing amazing stuff with Summer League and the utility. What do you think about that?
I've seen almost no evidence of that at all, personally. Really, no one that I speak to about NFTs has ever said, yeah, I can't wait to move these profits into NBA Top Shot. Maybe there's circles where that's happening that I'm not aware of. That is not something that has...
I think more the summer, NFT summer verse. I don't know. My dad tonight ironically did say that crypto always falls in the fall. Is that accurate? Is that something that like you think is a cyclical thing?
I don't really buy into a lot of that stuff personally. I'm not sure.
I will say
last fall was a good fall for crypto.
Yeah, isn't it? It's normally December when people are realizing their tax liabilities and then are having to sell crypto off to make sure they're covered for the tax man.
I thought it was all just a big money laundering scheme. Just wash trading. I do think going macro is another reason why we are all really excited. You talk about, I mean, I just think back to like all these people hitting me up about NFTs, and it's like the easiest place to realistically point someone is straight to Dapper, right? Like Flow building their own blockchain. There's no gas wars. There's no MetaMask you can buy with credit card. That's huge. We saw WNBA players listed to the site. La Liga announcement, and I see a lot of chatter about that in the chat. So it's no longer when China, it's when Spain. And so I think they said 2022, something like that. So they said past and future. I see people writing messy moments. It would only be retro Messi because he's now in Paris. But I think thinking about like Flow, right, and their potential, which is like, once again, it's things we've been saying that we expect them to get other IPs. But once it like comes true, then everyone's like, oh, it's actually happening. And I think there's a reaction to that as well, which is exciting. You know, I don't think they're stopping at WNBA and La Liga. And La Liga, I guess you could argue, might even be bigger than baseball or hockey in terms of an international market. Yeah.
Someone was posting on Twitter today that Barcelona has more followers than, I think, the Yankees, Lakers, I don't know,
Correct.
Patriots, Cowboys put together, something like that.
Yeah.
Way more than all that. And
Ronaldo, who played in Ronaldo, who played in Spain, has more Instagram followers than he's the only person with 100+ million Instagram followers. So yeah, La Liga is as big as it gets.
I'm just looking at Redcoat's question here in the chat. The answer is Andy, because Andy only has Ethereum and NFTs, so he would not be able to pay for anything really. And that's, I guess, for anyone who's listening, Redcoat posed the question: whose wife or girlfriend will leave them first if Ethereum and NFTs go to zero? And the answer is
no.
I think it's Jennings for sure.
No,
I think it's Jennings.
120% of Andy's assets are in Ethereum and NFTs.
Yeah, but listen, all of you who have lovely ladies they love you for who you are. I think Ashley would feel a lot of spite towards Pete, just based off what I see on the
Ethereum. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, nothing related. I think she hates that you spend Ethereum and buy the JPEGs. Maybe now she's come around a little more. I was with Allie. She's got penguins. She's all in. Like, she understands. That's just my take, though.
They just wouldn't have any. They'd be broke. Something would need to happen there.
I think we would all be broke.
Yeah, circling back to that.
Allie has a strong independent career, and we will be going to Allie for tax questions.
Ashley would love if I went to zero. She'd get to roast me nonstop.
Right.
Wrong. She would just destroy me constantly.
That's
like, oh, you thought this was a good idea. boom, like roast. Like she would love it. She lives for me to make mistakes.
Yeah, well, Andy and Allie can never break up because now that we all got to know Allie, it would be one of those messy, who gets the club Top Shot friends, breakup.
Yeah.
And we all know it'd be Allie too. So that'd be
Yeah.
that'd really suck for me.
I will say I am one of those people who did roll some Ethan. I had bought the Series 1 Steph and LeBron. Those were moments I'd been eyeing forever a few weeks ago. And it was kind of having some profits from selling a cool cat and other random projects where I'm like, I have this ETH just sitting here. I've had these, moments bookmarked forever. And now Mike, was very helpful showing me how to connect my Dapper wallet to my MetaMask there. Bada bing, bada boom. And I think I saw someone in here as well. I'm in a few groups where people are moving JPEG ETH back into Top Shot. So I don't think that take is unreasonable because there's a decent amount of people I think who are feeling similarly about that.
I don't know if it's the people who are making like hundreds of ETH or like thousands of ETH on these trades. It's the guys like us who are making half an ETH here and there, and it's like, all right, let me go buy some more.
Mike, don't say the guys like us.
Don't try to lump yourself into common man.
You're not a man of the people.
No, but neither is Mike. Mike's freaking swinging around, and I mean, he's in the Top Shot. He's the man of the people, but he's making big moves. I mean, he's selling Cryptopunks. He's buying. I mean, he's making big moves.
I sold one Pong.
Do you know what your worst take is, Mike? And I saw you do it again on Twitter. Your logic for not buying the Cool Cat set is just so. I agree. I think you're so smart. I think you are great for the Top Shot community. This is your worst fucking take. I can't get into the Cool Cats because he says because he wasn't along for the ride, it would be fraudulent for him to buy the Cool Cats.
I thought they massively overcompensated the Cool Cats, and it's basically like we dragged you through the mud. Here's a bunch of shit, and I'm like, all right, like that's like if I walked by like some banquet hall and they were feeding an army of people who just finished the battle, and I'm like, oh, you guys have some leftovers, like let me get some of that. I'd be like, no, you guys did the battle, enjoy your feast.
I disagree. But Mike, what you're missing, I hear what you're saying, and I understand that initially, but now that the prices have gone up, some of those people want to be rewarded for sticking it out. And I think they need someone like you, a second guy, as the Club NFT channel calls it. They want a second guy, and they'll feel redeemed that they didn't burn all that money. I am having a ton of FOMO about not being in the 9 Lives Discord. Not because I actually don't spend a ton of time on Discord outside of Pete's channel, because I'm nervous with WNBA, with La Liga, with UFC, with potentially bigger and better sports. The benefits that they could potentially give to those users, that's where, and like just being an OG Top Shot person, I feel like I need to be in there. But I keep getting anchored to like, okay, at 5K, I probably should have gotten in. Now it's like the LaMelo 7,500 on its own.
I guess,
and
I don't think it's Mike, for the OGs. The OGs,
it's not for
like are yeah.
You can rent Seek It too. The set is up massively when you were dragging your feet in Vegas. Like, just think of it as a money market making opportunity. This set is going to go up. It's not about the ethics of like whether you're part of the club. People don't go around, saying like,
it's just like I come in there and everyone's like, oh man, like what a battle. Welcome in,
That's not what it's like.
Yeah,
no
we're all here together. I'm like, it's like hasn't been that kind of ride for me.
So ease in, Mike. Just ease in. You don't have to jump in and take over, but you can.
And who's
still
selling to me? I want to know who's selling to me. If it's So
are you guys saying that I should join the 9 Lives Discord?
I'm not even in there. I'm just like that's why it's so ridiculous.
So, I will say,
made up utility on our own.
Chris Collins, who says Smiz bought all 30 Cool Cats, that did FOMO me out of wanting to really get into it. But outside of that, I think it's like I just think if you're going to be Dapper's biggest proponent, an investor, a Top Shot whale, Mike, that it almost feels like, why not like sell one of your jaws and get into the 9 Lives? No, I know. I'm saying you should be in.
You're saying it's not a money thing, and we're saying it's not a imposter syndrome thing whatsoever. I'm speaking on behalf of all
I'm
of
going to
the
do this
9
right
Lives.
now. How do I join? I don't. I'm on the Discord trying to join.
There's a collab land thing within the Top Shot Discord.
Where?
Mike, we're gonna break you on this take. You love Top Shot too much. You love being a part of it, and we're getting our Infinite Objects thing is getting sent to us.
Everyone gets one.
Didn't I miss
I
that?
should really join the
Fuck
9 lives.
that.
Oh.
Yep.
When
There are going to be so many partnerships, guys. Follow the money. Follow the money.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's just opportunity cost wise. I'm like, should I spend 10 grand on this? Probably, definitely not. But like, just being, if you got to buy La Liga moments 1 hour before everyone else, it might be worth 10 grand just in that moment. That's what my thought was today. And what if this thing goes to 50K to get it? Like, that's how I anticipate the Knicks team set going.
I'm not
like,
trying to get in and make dollars on the Cool Cat set. If anything, I would do it for the community, but I just feel like it's for the community of people who had a tough time between February and whatever we are now, August. And
you know what, Mike? It's actually insulting how you're categorizing this. You're acting like this was some like pity party, like
it was.
Yeah.
Do you not think it was? That's exactly what it was.
Literally what it was.
No, we're having the time of our lives.
No.
It's a nonstop party. I'm just saying, this is just a bad. You're just in your head about this stuff. Literally, no one cares.
Like, will you buy me the Cool Cats set, please? If you don't feel morally
give
okay.
you 10 grand? Is that the question?
Yeah. Float it to me.
I'm not gonna
float it to me.
I'm a little worried about my ability to find how to join the 9 Lives Lounge.
It's right.
Okay.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Mr. DeFi Sushi Man.
Pete, what'd you buy? You bought a Steph Curry MGLE and a LeBron what?
MGLE, please, Pete. I didn't have my punk money yet. No, I just bought their Series 1 moments, the Steph 3 and the LeBron, the Caruso bubble alley-oop dunk from the.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you.
I fractionally own the From the Top LeBron Kobe tribute dunk, but I didn't have any Stephs, and I wanted to get a little Series 1 Steph in there. And because of the whole supply thing with his first moment, I still feel weird about buying that one. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll give them to the Cool Cats 9 Lives members. So I'm going to hold out on that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like those buys. Two, like, I think just the thesis, I was talking to someone who's done extremely well in sports, just a really successful guy, and kind of been poking around NFTs, made a couple purchases, and was really bullish about Top Shot maybe a week ago. And I like the thesis we were talking about. I think if you just invest in Hall of Fame players, it's a pretty good way to think about it. And like, Steph is a for sure Hall of Famer. So Steph's one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
There's probably 4 or 5 guys I think you could just invest in and feel really good about.
Yeah.
Would you put Luka in that category, Jennings? Not to talk too much basketball in here, Chad.
No, we can now easy.
We're good now. Would you
I would say
Luka?
that for sure, like top tier is LeBron, Steph, KD, and Giannis. I think those are the 4 that you can just say, like.
Was Giannis there pre-ring or this is a post-ring?
No, it's with the ring. Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then there's a next tier of like a lot of guys, the Zions, the Jaws. I actually put Ja higher than what you guys were saying before. Luka's definitely in there. We'll see what Harden will do. Joker just won MVP. I mean, there's a long list. Dame is, who knows? Anthony Davis.
Dave, Trey, Tatum, Booker.
The list goes on and on. There's that next tier, right? There's 4 guys, and then there's the next tier of like really good. But those, if you just invest in those 4, like those are for sure first ballot, like absolute like stars that are Hall of Famers that like are symbols of like these eras of basketball. I think that's a pretty good way to go
Westbrook.
about it.
I see Westbrook in the chat. Not even.
No. Westbrook's worse than everyone else named so far.
I see Giannis tier 1.5. I actually agree with that take, and I'm huge Giannis. But I do think those 3 guys are above him. Like,
I would take Giannis 4th of that group too. But 1.5 is.
But upside wise, I think he, whatever. Those 3
My
guys.
issue with KD is, which KD moment do you buy?
I think it's his run it back.
Run it back.
I don't. I
I
don't.
bought one of his base
I guess,
moments
but like, it's
today.
assume you don't have 25 grand.
Here's my biggest KD thing.
But like, you know, the base 7,500 moment. Like, you know, I was having the debate with a few people on Twitter. Is the Top Shot debut meaningful? And I think the answer is like definitely yes, because it's extremely obvious what it means, and people like things that are first in collecting. The KD
But that is
7,500.
first.
The people. I know
That's
the
his
KD 7,500 isn't marked. I know, but we know that. I don't think people 5 years down the line are going to know that unless like someone who was like on the ground right now is talking
I
to them,
think
or there's
you
like some write-up that
underestimate.
specifically highlights that.
I think you underestimate
I just know
sometimes how narrative driven.
It's not tagged in it especially. I know, but what's
It's
the
just-
narrative on that? It's the first base.
it's
kind of?
that.
Like, is that?
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah.
It's not tagged like that. Yeah, but it's not like. Is the 7,500 that much better than I don't know a rare in Series 5 of KD?
2004 LeBron cards sell, and it's known as second year LeBron. Like I don't think it's too crazy to think 5 years down the line, everyone knows what Series 1 was, and there's only one K. I don't think it's that crazy.
I just think like it's one more step removed away from like a simple onboarding for a new person than a Top Shot debut tag. So that's my only issue with KD. I haven't stacked a lot of KD because of that issue. I don't know which one to get, and I have a bunch of the ribs and I have some of the 7,500, but I just don't know which one to stack. Whereas I think James, I completely agree with your thesis, and it's what I've tried to do. But I've focused a lot on like Series 1 Top Shot debut, base MGLE. That kind of thing that's like accessible, but stands out for these players.
Here's my biggest argument for KD. If you were to make an all-time starting five, I think KD is like a lock on that team. If you were to make your best five all-time, I think KD fits better with like any player, any era. He's just he does everything so exceptionally well, and he plays so well with everybody. Like KD makes every team like an instant contender regardless, and I think he's such a special player that we'll see him win more titles. Yeah,
it's not a basketball thing. I think KD. I completely agree. He's unbelievable. But I
KD probably fits on like more all-time teams than LeBron, and LeBron is like obviously one of the two GOATs. But and LeBron I think fits well with pretty much every team too. But I think KD is like the most, even more than Jordan. He fits with everything. So
I agree.
We'll see. It'll be interesting to see if he gets more titles. I mean, I was watching like some of those highlights of him when he was playing on like those USA scrimmages when he was 18. I mean, just ridiculous how good he is. Even now, like he's still at the peak of his powers, and we'll see how the latter half of his career is. But yeah, I agree. The moments are tricky, but I think I think 30 years from now, people are going to still be raving about Durant as one of the GOATs.
Andy, you said you picked up. You were going a little Top Shot shopping today or yesterday.
Yeah, I was hoping I could buy some on the stream, but the marketplace is still down, so rugged again.
What did you buy?
I just bought one of the Durant 3-point. So, very poignant to this conversation. I decided I wanted to buy another Durant moment. I already have a good amount of the run it back Durants, so I decided to buy one of his base moments. I only have a couple of those.
How many run it backs do you have? Because I forgot, like you're a Thunder fan, so that probably made the most amount of sense for you to buy.
I have 6 of them.
Okay.
I got those pretty early, and I have fine cereals. I almost got his jersey. I got like 33 or something like that, which is too bad.
I remember that. You were very upset.
Yeah.
I have 35
pumped.
of his Nets base moment, the one we were just talking about, which is not the jersey, but it's the old jersey match.
So I went into Series 2. I was like the first KD moment in Series 2. I'm gonna stack that like absolute crazy. And then I was like I don't know. A few years down the line, like do people know that this is like a meaningful one? Is it a meaningful one? And I couldn't feel comfortable with that, so I kind of stopped. But like I'm not gonna go away from it. I own a bunch of those, and I'll probably buy a bunch more. Yeah.
Two good questions from Andrew right there. Well, one question that I think leads to another. This could turn very ugly, in my opinion. This is a dangerous game to play. If they do relieve the team bottlenecks, it could absolutely tank like a large majority. I know that essentially every team set ran based off the run it backs being the bottleneck. I was actually planning on selling some of my lower end run it backs because I thought once they released the new run it backs and you have AI Shaq, whoever, other players that the Dennis Schroeders and whatever, DeMarcus Cousins were going to tank. I held on to them. They all went berserk because they are kind of the bottlenecks. What's your guys' anticipation with them releasing running backs pretty soon? Could they actually relieve the bottlenecks? Is that a healthy thing? Will they create tiers? So like the OGs would have the bottleneck to be the ultimate tier of a fan, and then you could get different level. What do you guys think?
I think that it's totally fine to have really high-end tiers. Personally.
Go ahead.
I think
yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, I think we're all on the same page where we want everyone to be able to enjoy like team benefits, and it should be scaled to an extent. But I do think there should be some sort of nice prize at the end or nice carrot for people who have what's currently viewed as the full team set, full Series 1, full Series 2, and the full set. And I think if they issue new running backs with like a Carmelo common Knicks moment, that you could get the all player thing, but you wouldn't have a complete Series 1 then, and that they should have almost a different tier for the people who have the all like the full comprehensive one, but like they should have different levels. So it's like maybe that's what, call it whatever you want, the ultimate level, and then there's like a different level that's like if you've done all series except for Series 1, maybe there's like a different level or something like that. And whether that's like you get more raffle tickets if you're at the top, or like there's one other experience you get that other people don't get, or whatever it is. I think there should be lots of exciting things to go around, but there should be something defined up top. And it's a really dangerous thing for the market if they rip that away and don't give any incentive, because people have been kind of trading on the information that they've basically leaked to us the information that team sets will be meaningful. And to complete a team set today, you need one of those running backs. And it's, I don't know. I mean, they're in a bit of a tough spot now where I think they do have to attribute some value to the running backs. They've just traded up so much that it's so clear the market has interpreted their comments that this will mean something. And it's really hard for them to go back on that now.
Go ahead, Andy.
I have a hard time thinking that like they should never print any more of particular players who are in the run it back, just because it might rug the people who bought those explicitly to fill out like the full team requirements. Because
that's interesting.
Because that's a gamble that you had, like whether or not you calculated that when you bought those moments, like that was a very real thing to think about. Is do I really want this like particular? Do I want to buy Michael Carter Williams moments just so I can make sure I have him for whatever run it back that I need? Yeah, like exactly. I have to imagine that like they can't just decide we will never have another Michael Carter Williams moment on the site because of these that people may have bought for too much money and they would be upset about it. That just like wouldn't really make sense, especially because some of the players are really good players who they would definitely want to have more moments of in the future as it grows. So I doubt
I don't think it should be exclusive, like to the like full current team set. I just think there should be some level where if you did all that, because of like what we've implied right now, you should get something, and then there should be accessible things for everyone else, and maybe it's just again extra tickets in a raffle or something like that. I don't think it's.
Did we lose him? Yeah, I think we did.
This is why I will not buy the Cool Cat set.
I gotta say, I'm enjoying my time in the Nine Lives Lounge because Mike's just getting roasted.
Is it
really?
He got subtweeted by Plunge. I just saw that on Twitter.
Am I back? Right now.
How much does it take to complete right now? Well, I can't. I mean,
okay. So with the Michael Carter Williams stuff, isn't it very similar to the Cool Cats thing, where it's like the moments themselves are incidental, but Dapper has basically told us these moments are special, these moments mean something, and the market just accepts that and likes that. It's the same thing with the running backs right now. If you want to be a Sixers fan, we're telling you this is how you be a Sixers fan. And I think that they will incentivize that going forward. And similar to how now everyone's excited about the kiosk at an NBA arena, like it's clear to me that they've implied enough that something's coming team set wise. And if you want to be a Sixers fan in the Dapper sense, you suck it up and you buy the Michael Carter Williams. If you want to be in the Cool Cats, you suck it up and you pay a lot of money for the LaMelo. And like some stuff is dictated by Dapper, and we're kind of just accepting that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's right 10,000 on the nose, or 10,000 and just at like $40. And yeah, I think you're probably right, Mike. And I think that's fine. But also, like, the people who bought those should be very aware that it is not. I would not bet that they will never print another moment of any of those players on those teams. That just seems like a silly bet to make. And so then you're essentially saying that I think the benefits of having the completed team set for the period of time that this will be this will be the gatekeeper for it is more valuable than whatever price depreciation you would get afterwards, which is it's fine. Like I still haven't completed a Thunder set because I didn't feel like I needed to before the season started, but like I probably will before the season starts. I probably will for a couple teams just because it'll be fun to have.
What's like the cost of entry to complete the cheapest team set right now? Do we know what like a baseline value is on that?
They got pretty pricey. OTM, I know, does a really good job of the team sets. I'm sure some of the other ones do as well. Teams, let's say. Like, I mean,
Well, it's funny.
I think the
whatever
conversation.
Is the cheapest one, everyone buys that, and then it becomes whatever. And then, like, there's the bottom 10 or whatever. I think.
Oh my god, the Pacers are $340. That's
to complete the team set.
If you live in Indiana, just buy the Pacers team set.
Wait, Paul George is like 3,100 alone.
Yeah, I don't. So that might be series. Okay, so that's a series 2 team set. So let's see. So all teams set. Let's see. I see Nuggets 442. I don't. S1 Rockets are 623. I guess would there would have been a Harden moment. It says Bucks 794. Maybe OTM's not the right place for that.
Chat saying Hornets and T-Wolves.
Yeah. And did they give a number?
I see a $200.
200. Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense.
So is the thesis of the play on the team sets of just that we feel like that's where the next big kind of utility will come from?
My bet isn't necessarily that I think we're gonna have like a whole section for team set holders. It's more so, once again, how I feel like if you're all in on Top Shot, I feel like you should be in the best or in the 9 Lives Lounge. And like if Dapper's gonna do anything with the Knicks, and like I had the chance to collect those moments, I would prefer to be a team set holder. But so I guess the answer is yes, it's based on utility. It wasn't bought on like I think these are going to run. So yeah, that's kind of how I think about it.
Tommy just wants the basic question here. If people aren't familiar, what do you need to buy to complete a team set?
So you need to buy any moment of a player from a given series. So if, let's just say for the Knicks, for example, you need any player that appears in series 1 for the Knicks, but it could be any of their moments. So let's say you don't need every single version of RJ Barrett. You just need any series 1 RJ Barrett, for example. But what makes it difficult right now, which is sort of this debate, is a lot of teams have run it back players that trade at a premium. So technically Carmelo Anthony, run it back, is a Knicks player from Series 1. And so if you want the complete Series 1 Knicks set, you need Carmelo Anthony and Amare Stoudemire. Amare. Well, okay, there you go. Chuck's talking about it. And that's the same thing for Series 2. And then I think if you've done Series 1 and Series 2, you then get like another badge, which is like all players. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's essentially when the run it backs are Series 1 moments, it makes the initial set very tough to collect.
Yeah.
Because there was like Durant doesn't have anything else. Melo, Stoudemire doesn't. The other ones at the top, you've got the Spurs, which is just Duncan, Dirk, the Lakers, the Nets, the Heat. So that's kind of what limits being able to collect but like Series 2, you can essentially collect for a couple $100. I don't think any team costs more than that in Series 2.
I think even less than that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
Jack, did you have a friend joining us tonight to rip packs?
So I had a friend who was beyond generous, and I know this would not fit Mike's moral compass, but I thought it was a very nice gesture. A friend, not even a friend, someone reached out to me in the DMs after I had complained that I didn't want to spend $500 to get the Quickly moment, but obviously like I wanted to play in the lottery, gifted me the moments because they had bought, a ton of them at Summer League, I guess. I still had to buy the Okoro for $7 and gave me the moments. And so I thought that they were delivering the challenge reward in a pack like they had for a bunch of the other ones. He gifted a ton of these to his friends and had incredible karma, pulled the number 6, which was pretty cool. So I was going to have him come on, tell the story, and then open ours, but mine was unfortunately already in my collection. I got like
what about that do you think I wouldn't like?
I feel like I feel like being gifted all the moments for a challenge without paying for them is like
why? That's fine. What's wrong with that?
Is it? I don't know. I feel like that's like it's like free giving. I don't know.
Andy, the person is foregoing his gains for your benefit. That's fine.
Andy, tell Mike what's going on in the 9 Lives Discord.
I'm getting DMs from several people right now saying you're getting roasted in 9 Lives Lounge. I'm like, all right.
No, they've moved on. Jacob said and then posted in there that he's thinking of a random center from the early 2000s, random backup center from the 2000s, and the first person to guess who it is gets a free pack. And so
wait, did he try to do a diversion to get the heat off of Mike?
I mean, the chat has just gone into just nonstop.
Never forget, Mike hates
like you
cool
have friends
cat.
in high places. Don't forget that.
Jacob, I got you, Jacob.
What's the question?
It's that he's thinking of a random backup center from the 2000s. That's it. I mean, it's literally.
Wow.
Who knows? We got a lot of like
Theo
Chris
Ratliff,
Dudley.
early 2000s.
Pete, can you name any backup centers from the 2000s?
I got one. I got a good one. Chuck Hayes.
Chuck Hayes. Okay.
Power
Chuck
forward.
Chuck Hayes, one of Jeremiah's favorites. Great rebounder, super efficient, best screen setter.
Luis Scola.
He's a starting
time. The answer was DJ Mabenga. I don't even know who that is.
Benga.
Okay.
You know who he is. You'll recognize him.
Oh, the chat loves this game.
Lasso.
Jacob knew how to get the heat off. He just get people to name random old players.
Speaking of run it back moments running, the moment I gifted to Overzet, I mean, you're Barbosa, baby. We're rolling.
Dude, my buddy Mike messaged me the other day. And he goes, "How do you have 2 of the Barbosa run it backs?" And I was like, "Jack said we what."
How are the Van Vliets doing in the bull market? Have we checked?
I think they're doing good. A watch pot doesn't boil. And they're kind of like NBL. They're in the family vault. They're in the Deposit Kingdom vault. So I just kind of don't look at them.
Wow, we're
Chat,
great names in the chat.
can we get a update on? Can we open packs while the marketplace is down?
That's
If chat wants to check on that for us, do us a nice favor.
All right, before we get off tonight, I do have to say I played Jack one-on-one in Vegas, and he basically let me get 3 points. I think if Jack wanted, he would win 11-0. It's a terrible matchup for me. He has youth, height, athleticism, footwork, maybe not shooting because, I can knock down a jumper. But that doesn't work in a one-on-one matchup against a guy who's got, 4 or 5 inches on you. So he could win 11-0 if he wanted to shame me. He was generous and allowed 3 points for me. So it was an 11-3 outcome.
Jack also battled through an injury and didn't wuss out and played well. Meanwhile, I was terrible. And
flossing now.
This is what we're going to do. I'm going to post. This is dangerous, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to post the link to this show in the VIP Discord. The first 2 people that I see hop in will get to open packs with us. Don't click the link.
We can't open packs.
We can't open them.
Packs. Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I even have packs to open.
All right.
I also came to the realization today that my deck, the Hoops, has the 23 LeBron in it, and I was so pumped.
Congratulations. That's crazy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a great feeling. So I was down to rip it, but I want to do it on a special occasion. So
this truly is how we know Top Shot is back, because we're so excited. We're ready. Andy wants to buy something on stream. We want to open packs, and the marketplace is down. We're back, baby.
Yeah, I have a lot of money in my account ready to buy something. I've been scammed.
I'm trying to buy.
Okay, guys.
All right, okay, let's play a different game. If we could buy, what would you buy right now?
I like that. That's a good game.
It's a good game.
By the way, the challenge 1,000 to 100K is fucking back on, people. My RJ moment I bought, it's mooning. I did buy like 4. Should have bought 4 other moments. They're doing much better, but we're gonna get to that 100K. What would you guys buy? Let's start.
What's the budget?
100. Let's start 100,000 and then let's go 100,000.
So one thing that's interesting right now is I'm on the marketplace, and when I search LeBron James, he doesn't come up in the Google search. I think he's like
it's a glitch sometimes. Oh yeah, I see no options either. That's weird.
It's just I'm trying to like just see the.
Maybe he's being added as a certified baller, and he just bought up. He just
so he still shows up on the
floor.
marketplace. You just can't search him. All right, so what was you have $100,000? You said
no.
So
start with 100. Start with 100.
I thought you said start with 100,000.
Oh no, I was saying let's give a buy at 100, 1,000, and 100,000.
Okay.
Like,
all right, fine. I'm nervous if I open Top Shot, my internet's gonna cut out. It's like precarious.
How poor?
Do you guys want to hear a fun fact?
You're not a
At
Cool
11
Cats
o'clock-
9 Lives Lounge member?
No, at 11 o'clock, there's an HBO episode on sports memorabilia that I will be featured in 4 minutes, but I don't have HBO, so I can't watch it.
Oh, perfect. I'll watch it.
This guy doesn't have HBO. He's not a 9 Lives Lounge member. What's going on, man?
I think I had a call with those guys.
anyway. Watching yourself is the most miserable thing you can do.
Did they come and interview in person? I had a call with them too. I didn't.
I went in person. I went in person. There was like
I didn't make
I had an interview with him too. Pete, you missed that one, didn't you?
Dude, this is how we know we're back. Everyone's
back,
getting interviewed
baby.
by the mainstream media, except the true man of the people right here.
I tried to
We
wear a
have to create our own
floaty t-shirt. They
content.
vetoed it.
Well,
You
obviously,
chill.
no free ads.
Yeah.
All right, $100. It's not my suggestion,
okay.
but I do think the funniest moment to buy is Nico Mannion for 99. Top Shot debut.
I saw that too.
He's out of the league. He's playing in Italy, and it's just so fun. His moment went crazy when he essentially retired from the league.
He went to Arizona, right?
The Big Ragu MGLE with the trophy is up there, $98. Yeah,
I think there's a couple interesting Top Shot debuts from people that are in like the $75 to $100 range.
Kobe's
of, like,
95.
Like I think CJ McCollum is an interesting one. There's a non-trivial
Yes.
chance he gets moved somewhere, and maybe he's on a finals contending team, and he's $77. That one seems like not a bad idea.
Bobo. Damian Lee, Top Shot debut, 89.
All right, let's all go with one. Let's pick one. Are you submitting Nico?
No,
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
All
I'm
right.
still searching.
Okay.
Yeah, we should have. This is what like a segment that would have been great to plan.
No.
All right, I'll go now. I'll buy everyone a little bit of time. I would go with a Kobe White Top Shot debut, Series 1. He's a rookie. There's a chance he kind of steps it up a little bit. His game doesn't translate that well to the NBA, but he's just under that $100 level. I like a Series 1 rookie. There aren't that many Series 1 rookies who have like a decent chance to actually make an impact. And it's clear that, especially with the NBA fans arriving who like the rookies, that Series 1 and Series 2 rookies will be, I think, in high demand throughout Series 3 for the reason that Jack was saying earlier, that until Series 3 closes, you don't really know how many of these Series 3 rookies you're going to get. And so for that reason, I think Series 2 and Series 1 will be desirable until the end of Series 3, which is in a little less than a year from now, probably. And so I like the idea of a Series 1 and Series 2 rookie right now. And so give me Kobe White, who I think is the best one under $100, factoring in the Series 1 thing.
All right. I'm gonna go. Normally, I would just throw out a rookie. Like I think Killian Hayes is interesting. Vassell, a lot of those guys. But let's go with the Durant playoff moment. $65, capped at 11,500. We just had a whole conversation. What could be Kevin Durant's top moment from Series 2, or a relevant one? That was an insane shot over. I think it was over Giannis in the playoffs. $65. I think it's a fun one to have, and you're betting on Kevin Durant. Not the worst person to bet on. And right below, go ahead.
No,
I was just saying, right below him is Denny, who's a Series 2 rookie, $64. He didn't really play. He's going to get a lot of tick next year coming off an injury if you like the high risk, high reward play.
Yeah, so I'm going to cop out and do two here, but they're in the same vein, which is...
Can I have one of yours?
Yeah, you can have one. You can have whichever one people think is dumber of the two, because both of these I think I'm going to get a little bit of flack for. So they're both players who suffered really bad injuries a couple of years ago, but who have both been all-stars but have not totally recovered, which are Porzingis and Oladipo Top Shot debuts.
Bearish.
Well, so all right, so here's my thinking is like, personally, if I'm buying moment for like less than $100, it's more of like a moonshot, like, oh, I could see the world where this guy like re-rates as a player. And both of those guys are on teams that could make the conference finals, I think, in their conference. And like at one point were significantly better than they are now. And I think a lot of that can be attributed to injuries. And so there's a world where they're just better now and they're significantly better players. It's probably
I just joke because
lower downside.
So whenever the bot goes off for Cosmic, I quote tweet and say bullish. And when someone bought a hollow Porzingis, I just tweeted bearish because obviously we hate Porzingis. And the guy DM'd me and was like, "Wait, why is this a bearish play?" I think and I was like, "No, it's literally just because like Knicks fans, we hate it." I mean, and I actually don't think he's gonna live up to the potential as him as a player. But to Andy's point, ceiling wise, to make an investment at the $50, $60, $70 range, Porzingis is, I mean, if he did become Luka's running mate, like that's AD level shit. So I like that call.
I go with Michael Porter Jr. His Series 1 just came up a little bit, but Nuggets still have a tremendous amount of upside. The Aaron Gordon trade was great for them. Obviously, the Jamal Murray injury sucks, but assuming he comes back in the latter half of the year, I think they could make some noise with that roster. Michael Porter Jr. What's up?
What's the cost of his moment?
Yeah, I just saw one above 100, so it's not a perfect answer. There's cheap ones. There's like $8 to $10 ones, but like his cheapest Series 1's like 150 now. I actually was looking at this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but I agree, and he's an unbelievable talent. I think. And Jamal Murray. How long is Murray out for?
We'll see. I mean, it's an ACL. They're getting faster and faster on those, but they should be careful. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right.
Second half of the year.
I have one, and it's a nostalgia play. We need to get back to getting NBA players on the stream. We need to pump them up. Damian Lee, assist got game right there.
Wow.
$97. Spend the other $3 on a nice little Italian ice or something. Really treat yourself. And call it a day.
All right, add a zero. I think this is helpful for the people. For the people who made real gains in the Pudgy Penguins, let's go to the $1,000 level.
This is pretty fun. I haven't really just scrolled.
It's fun to see like the new pricing, right, Andy?
Yeah.
Should we say Series 2 only for this one? Because I'm going to do Series 1 otherwise.
I don't think that's
So I was team Bitcoin. Like when I first got into crypto, I was like, all these other coins are shit coins, all coins.
I don't like where you're going with this.
And then I found, Ethereum. And honestly, if I had known about Ethereum and the speed and all the stuff it could do with NFTs, I probably would have been more open-minded. And now I feel like I make fun of the Bitcoin maxis. You're obviously the biggest Series 1 maxi that's ever existed.
Part of the reason is because I don't know what happens with Series 2 when Series 3 comes out. No one knows that right now. And I don't think I'm bearish on that microeconomy. We'll say that right now, if you don't want Series 1, you buy Series 2 because there's no other option. If there's also a Series 3, do I think that money comes out of Series 1? Maybe a little bit. I think much more of it comes out of Series 2. And John with no H, I am not vaping. No, this is like a weird look. This is a zipper case of nail clippers.
Clipping your nails on the stream, Mike?
Wait, do you see
No, no.
Do you see everyone shilling
my
their
desk.
shitcoins in the chat now?
Yeah.
Solana.
Let's see what's in this zipper
Ripple.
thing. Let's see your nail clippers, Mike. Let's just do this.
Yeah, who
Oh,
keeps
it's-
the nail clippers on their desk?
It's like an Amazon thing. It's great.
That's some
it's a
serial
toenail clipper and
killer
a
shit,
fingernail
Mike.
clipper.
That's some legit serial killer
What the hell are you
stuff.
talking about? This is fucking nail clipper case.
Hey, 9 Lives Lounge members, batten down the hatches tonight. Mike's coming. Mike's on the loose.
This is
I'll start it off with
mine.
1,000. I would buy a James Harden moment right now. I think Nets won the title. James Harden has been underrated his whole career. I know they have the MVPs, but I think he's going to play really well with this team this year. We saw some of the creation. Hopefully, it's healthy. I think they're set up extremely well. And Harden wins, has a great season, wins a title. I think it's interesting. I mean, I would have said Steph, Durant, or LeBron too, potentially, but I think those are just a little bit out of reach for some Series 1s. Harden's like right on the cusp there for Series 1.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. Mine is probably the AD Top Shot debut base. It's 945. I think
Filling
that's
my bags. What a legend.
That was my OG
Love
moment.
AD.
My first ever pack opening. I got that one. That's nostalgic for me.
I have an obscene
The,
number.
Mine, this was pointed out to me by Willis. Fred VanVleet, Series 1, number 69 is available for $750. You buy that, you get $250 in Italian ices. Have yourself a really nice weekend.
that's a good deal. That's a lot of
I'm
Italian
just gonna list off a few. I think Halliburton MGLE is super fun. That's his rookie moment. LeBron All-Star is a super cool one. And then there's a Zion Series 1 for under 1,000. I think that's a really good one.
That one caught my eye.
Yeah, and then the only other one would be, or two. I mean, you could get the Dame, the Paul George MGLE. Only 300 of those. He's super underrated. And then there's a few hollows. Like I think owning a legendary moment, if you can get a decent player. I mean, Rui's an okay player. Sexton's a pretty good player. Tobias is a good player for under $1,000. Like I think that is underratedly cool. To own a legendary moment.
I really agree with what you just said there, Jack. Dapper, it's a little bit weird because it's become a bit of what is Dapper thinking, what's Dapper doing? But Dapper has said over and over and over again, like legendary and rare are special, common are common. And so, and what they've shown with collector scores, it's kind of binary. A legendary is a legendary, whether it's LeBron or whether it's Ish Smith, our favorite. And so I do think there's an argument to be made. You should just kind of scoop a few kind of floor legendaries, agnostic of who they are, and a few of them are tucked under that $1,000.
I know people in the physical world, which I mean, I don't do this as much, but there's people who would rather have like Derwin James's top rookie card RPA than they would, just another base Mahomes PSA 10, right? And I think there's absolutely some value to that in this legendary world. And some of we're not talking about like the Ish Smiths, like Rui could be a fantastic player, and Colin Sexton averages 20 a game. Like it's not absolute scrubs by any stretch. So I think just owning legendaries could be really, really cool. There's only 99 of them.
Yeah, agreed.
No, I agree. So my moment that I'm choosing is Series 1. What I've been trying to buy a bit of recently, and I don't want to say this because I kind of want to do more of it, but like it's good for me to not put more money into Top Shot, is I've been trying to buy the worst of a rookie in a given series, basically. So the worst, for example, LaMelo base that costs like $75 right now, because the idea is basically some people will come onto the platform, not have $1,500 to spend to buy a debut, and just want a LaMelo rookie. And while it seems like there are a lot of them, it's 40,000. There are I don't know how many, 50,000 LaMelo rookie moments in total on the platform. It's not that many. I think there are way more than 50,000 people who would like owning a LaMelo rookie moment.
Overzet made fun of me because I said the same thing. I said the LeBron 40K would reach $100, and he's like, "Of course." And this is when it was at
because like Series 2 LeBron isn't different from Series 3 LeBron. Series 2 LaMelo is different from Series 3 LaMelo.
Sure. Yes, I get that thesis too. But I guess my thought process would be it's just going to tear down. Like if the cheapest LeBron you could get is a Series 2 and it's 100, you'll buy that. And then when it goes to Series 3, I think more people, then maybe those are $8, those run up to 50, and I think it just keeps loading up from there. But I hear what you're saying with the rookie stuff.
Yeah, and then so I did the same with Zion. So Zion's cheapest Series 1 moment right now is $870, which means if you just want a Zion rookie moment, it doesn't matter if it's Top Shot debut, it doesn't matter if it's a cool play, you just want to own a Zion rookie, that's your way in. And so I think that it's a kind of low-hanging fruit play that as the platform grows, people will buy that. And I did that with Curry's cheaper base in Series 1 and LeBron's cheaper base in Series 1, where it's kind of, if you want a Series 1 LeBron or a Series 1 Curry, because I'm a Series 1 homer, you buy the cheap base. And so I think it's an easy entry point for a lot of people. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
All right, $100,000. Let's hear it.
What about 10,000?
10's kind of boring. That's
I think the
just
10,000 might be more interesting than the 100,000. To be honest,
let's go to 10. Let's go to 10.
I was looking a little bit. I think it's a pretty interesting price point. Actually, I think those are a few answers.
This one is. I mean, everyone knows the moment I'm chasing is the Giannis run it back. That and who had a whole. I don't know if it was a thread, but there was someone posted about like all the Giannis moments at that level, and there was a conversation like, will the Top Shot debut versus the run it back? I'm team run it back. I said I would swap the debut for the run it back straight up.
The MGLE you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Series 1 MGLE, which is at a similar price to the run it back. I know it's not the same as collecting since he was a rookie, but I think that rookie tag you come on the site is I don't know. I think that's the one.
I think you can get similar exposure to the MGLE with the base Top Shot debut. And you can't really replicate if the platform accepts that Giannis' running back is his Top Shot rookie moment, and it trades up the way it has and keeps going to a few more levels because people just want rookie Giannis exposure. It's a different kind of return trajectory, and I don't know. I might prefer a run it back, even though I don't love the concept of the retroactive rookies.
Right above 10K, which, given how we're going, is the cheapest LeBron Kobe dunk tribute, like 12K or something right now. That's my hands down pick.
Yeah,
Pete always gets a little more extra money with his picks.
Well, he's borrowing your ice money.
He's the one selling. He's the one selling you the ice.
I mean, if you can afford 10 grand, you can afford 13 grand. I mean,
so
I mean that moment, it's very obvious. But there's like 1,400 of them, whatever it is, 1,350 on the platform at that moment, and that's like a massive NBA historical moment.
And it's Series 1 LeBron.
Yeah. No one has anything bad to say about that moment.
On Kobe Day, nonetheless. Yeah. Shout out Kobe, rest in peace.
Yeah,
that's everything.
Yeah.
So I was just doing some research here, and if you had $10,000, what if I told you you could complete a set that has an incredible community, a vibrant?
Nope. You don't have enough money, Pete.
I sold some of my Italian ices. I'm giving Mike my $10,000 to buy the low ask, sweep the floor, and become a member of the 9 Lives Lounge. Mike, welcome to the club.
I love it.
Thank you.
Mike, would you? All right, serious question, Mike. If someone bought and gifted you every single Cool Cats, would you join the Discord?
I think you know the answer to that question. I said it's not about the money. It's not about the expense of it.
Wow. We don't know
that
what
would
it's about, Mike.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out. Shout out. I would also, if I didn't get the Giannis run it back, I think the LeBron, I do have one of these, but the LeBron finals, and then you could get a Zion Top Shot debut. That would be about $9,500. The LeBron finals is in the bubble, LeBron James winning a title for the Lakers with the trophy. That is that's why I think the legendary one is so sick. I think that one at $5K or $5,500, whatever. That's why I bought it at $15,000. I thought it was dope.
So if I can,
I saw someone.
Go
ahead. No, go ahead, and then I'll do mine.
No.
We're all excited tonight. We're talking over each other.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
It's been so long talking.
If I could talk over Andy a little bit more and use Jennings' extra money strategy, I would probably go with a Booker Series 1 Hollow. And I feel like Booker's Hollow and Cosmic right now are strangely kind of underpriced to me. I view him as probably like a tier below Tatum, but not like a huge step below Tatum. And he's lagging pretty hard in both the Hollow and Cosmic markets. And I don't know why. He's a young player still. His team, he had a great year last year with the team. I don't think the Suns are going to be back in the finals anytime soon, to be honest. But I think Booker's a good young player, and I'm surprised he doesn't get more love on the platform. And for his Hollow Series 1 moment to be $12,000 and the Cosmic, I think, is $28,000. But both of those in their respective sets stand out to me as like the nice value right now.
Agreed. So someone said the Harden Challenge Hollow from Season 2 or Series 2 at 8,000. It's a 44 edition. I like that one a lot. I also like Dirk at 7,600, but I think all things equal, the one that I would choose is the Luka first round 3-pointer. I just think that moment's so badass, and there are not very many of them, and so with that also comes like a pretty thin floor of moments right now. I like that one a lot.
That was my first ever big buy, $294. That one got up to $40,000, and it dropped to as low as like $3K during the bear market. I agree. Like in the bubble, Luka's first big moment ever. Series 1 was insane and pretty limited run as well. Also, Pete, make sure you check your mentions. Ashley has investment advice for you. That just popped up.
Wait, who was the Luka first round? Who threw that out there? I like that answer.
Andy did.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that one's really special too. Like, I'm very long Luka in general. I just think he's like absolutely insane. And so the world where he is a guy where everyone cares about his, Hall of Fame induction in 20 years, that's a moment that's being played during that Hall of Fame induction where that's like his coming out moment of like Luka in the playoffs hitting a crazy game-winning shot. And so I think it has a lot of high upside in that sense.
Agree.
Oh,
all right, last one.
Who hasn't done it yet?
No, 100,000.
I'll spend more money again. Zion Hollow 115 right now. It was under 100.
I put a maximum of 100,000 and then I look at the marketplace to see.
Yeah, that's what
I
I
would do that.
Well, Morant Cosmic just sneaks in there by $1.
Yeah.
All right, I changed my answer.
Go ahead.
No, I'll take the Morant.
Are there any cool like jerseys or number 1 that I should be looking at here? I don't.
I think significantly lower than 100,000, but there's a couple of Steph Curry legendaries. His 3-pointer at 75,000 and his Hollow at 58,000 both jump out to me just quickly looking. He's just such a special player, and to have his Hollow is his rarest moment in Series 1, and to have that be like less than Pascal Siakam's Cosmic seems a little silly to me personally.
I'm gonna get this Chris Paul Cosmic 70,000. I'm buying 30,000 worth of Italian ices.
Stop pumping our bags, Pete.
Pete, you want another Chris Paul? Check the Cosmic series. Who else has got some Cosmics there?
Oh yeah, we see.
Andy, that 3-pointer from the top was like, I don't know, it was like $20,000 recently. I guess someone pulled a listing or someone bought it. Did you?
I bought one of those on August 7th for $13,000.
Yeah, nice. Okay, good. And interesting that it's past the assist, so that the 3-pointer aspect surpasses the debut aspect, which I think is good. I think that's appropriate.
I agree.
No.
Yeah, well, because it's from the tops, not the Hollow. I think the Hollow Curry should be
the
higher.
Hollow would trade higher.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
What would I do? I would buy a smorgasbord of maybe a Steph for 58K. Then I'd drop a LaMelo for 22K. That puts me at 80.
You could say that you won the 1K to 100K challenge. It's just you received 100K.
Yeah, exactly. I have For whatever reason, I'm curious what you guys think about the Deck the Hoops series. The LeBron's now at 17K. It's not Series 1. It's such an odd set. There wasn't Christmas Series 1. I think it's so cool, and there was it was a fun part of Top Shot for me. What are you, Andy and Mike? I think you guys were in at that point. What's your thoughts on Deck the Hoops?
I don't own any personally.
Wow.
I own just the Curry reward, actually.
Yeah.
Did you buy the Curry reward straight up?
I did a bunch of renting. It was back in the day when renting was cool.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I generally am not very long alternative packs, and it has for the most part been a huge mistake. the biggest being selling a ton of run it back moments for pennies on the dollar in retrospect. So I wouldn't say that I'm doing the best at this, but I'm sticking to my plan at least, and so I don't have very much of stuff like that.
Well, maybe I'll buy my 23 Deck the Hoops
People
LeBron one day.
I think Luka's Deck the Hoops moment, he's shooting a 3 over LeBron, and people liked that dynamic.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
You might be right.
And people like that dynamic as a passing of the torch kind of thing.
I thought they played the Clippers. But I think you are right. Let's see.
I just remember people saying that they really like the Luka.
I'm getting my Christmases. Yeah, they played the Mavs. You're right.
Okay.
And LeBron's moment is against Luka, 3 over Luka, which is pretty funny.
Let's see.
And it's a very limited run.
So that's not what Luka's is. It's the LeBron moment then that LeBron shoots over Luka, and people like that. Okay, it's the other way around. But anyway, Deck the Hoops, I have a special place in my heart for. It's literally the only time I've ever gotten a legendary pack. I've opened one legendary pack in my life. It was a Deck the Hoops pack. I got a Luka, and I immediately traded it for a pile of Series 1 moments.
I remember that. The only legendary pack I ever got was when people didn't actually want to buy legendary packs, and so I bought 10 of the finals legendary pack, and I just got a ton of Danny
not the
Green.
finals. The lace him up, probably, right?
No, I didn't buy any of those.
The finals legendary was ungettable. That sold out instantly last year.
I got 10 of them.
Try some hacking nonsense.
No, but I didn't get.
That actually happened with Deck the Hoops. Deck the Hoops, some people got 10. I only got 1 pack, but you could get a bunch. And then the run it backs, I'll never forget the run it back packs. They stacked or unintentionally did not randomize your run it back moments. So if you bought, I think you got 2 or 3 run it backs, but you would just get the same player. So that's why I have a ton of Oladipo, and someone could have just gotten 3 KDs out of one $200 pack or something, which is insanity.
That happened. I got
Is that how you have 6? You got
the KD was a challenge reward, but
oh, gotcha.
But I got 6 Giannis out of, I think I had 30 packs, and I got 6 Giannis, which is pretty good. I had I think I got 16 Udonis Haslams. So I mean, good and bad.
Also, I got a million Udonis. I got 14.
Yeah, him and Michael Carter Williams. I was a whale. But I remember as I was opening the packs, I distinctly remember messaging Mike and being I think something's wrong with my packs. I keep getting 2. And they were no, it's probably just bad luck. I was I don't know. It's been 6 packs now. I don't know what's happening.
One of my running backs had, I think, 6 Cody Zeller bases. 100% of the bases were Cody Zeller. Not kidding. 100%.
Yeah, Sonic Dream. I remember.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're running pure. All right, guys. Well, a bummer that we can't rip some packs, but this was a very fun show. Let's go around the horn here to wrap up. Pete, final thoughts, comments? You going to buy Ashley some handbags?
Yeah, I'm about to go shop for some purses, trying to get out of the doghouse. It's going to be tough work, but maybe I can buy my way out of this one. And good luck to everyone in the streets out there. Be smart. Right now is a crazy time. I'm getting tons of texts of people buying NFTs and all sorts of crazy shit.
Andy, any other words of wisdom here for the people?
Yeah, I think to echo what Pete said, people on Twitter don't ever talk about when they lose a ton of money buying stuff or when they mess up and miss things. I miss things all the time, and I buy dumb shit all the time. So definitely don't feel like you have to FOMO things and that everyone's getting hilariously rich and you're not. If you are not getting hilariously rich, people just like to flex.
Yeah,
about
there was
stuff
a
they hit
good
on.
there's the good OpenSea tweet today, not by them. Someone said it was what, like 600 or 6,000 out of all the OpenSea accounts have ever traded $100,000 plus in NFTs. So it's a very small percentage of people. They're just louder when they get retweeted on Twitter. So good point, Andy.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, like our group. I mean, we joke about it, but like Pete and our group that sold our punk, we literally left $500,000 on the table, and like it's hard not to let that get to you mentally. But you can't. Pete, I'm just we're trying to preach mental health here, and you start laughing. You're not helping my point.
Are we gonna make it, guys?
Mike,
Not
you're
gonna
done, Pete. Mute you and your mouse, Pete. Mike, any final words?
Any final words are I'm sorry to the NLL community. They're a powerful community, but I will say, it's clear I have friends in the right places. I want to shout out to Jacob and to Luke for diverting the attention of the NLL mob away from my execution.
There's good people on both sides.
Yeah. And just a cheers to meeting you guys. Pete in Vegas. It's our first time reconnecting since then. Vegas was an awesome time. Overzet, thank you for organizing. Again, the people who joined us in Vegas, thank you for making it a good time. And we'll have to do a little Club Top Shot rematch at some point in the 3-on-3.
Thank you, Mike, for those very somber words. Jack, final words here.
WNBA is coming. That's confirmed. It's I know it. It's happening. So I don't know what that does for you, but if that makes you bullish, be more bullish. Be careful out there. And I mean, I think rake back at midnight. That's my call. Let's go shopping together in the morning, or don't sleep, because sleep might be negative EV again.
It definitely is.
There you go. You guys could all harass Jack when there's no rake back money in your account in the morning. Thank you to Underdog, our sponsor. Get in those best ball drafts before they wrap up here in the next.
Second place is still open.
Yeah, so is first place. I need to win it to make back what I lost on Cryptopunks. I am Peter Overzet. We will be here next Tuesday. Enjoy the new Top Shot Mania. We'll see you guys next week.